your entire Awaken 180 program. Free support for life included. It's a thank you for the sacrifices you've made, protecting our freedoms and making this country what it is. This is special. Awaken 180 has never offered a discount, ever. If this incentive can help turn your focus on you, your health, your goals, and your happiness, I say go for it. Do what I did and choose the solution for weight loss. So if you're active duty, a veteran, or a spouse of one, this month is about you. Celebrate veterans with 15% off your Awaken 180 program. And as with all clients, receive free support for life after reaching your goal. Do what I did and dozens of other radio guys I know did who've lost a ton of weight.
Here we go.
In fact, over 23,000 other people have done it too. Take control at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
First of all, we are not listening to the people we claim to represent. We claim to be the party of the working class, the party of poor people. And yet we let interest groups and think tanks tell us what those people need. That's why we end up with these relatively small ball solutions. I'm not saying they don't matter, but more roads and bridges, bulk negotiation of prescription drug prices, a little bit bigger tax credit for families with kids. That's not meeting the moment, because Americans are exhausted by a neoliberal economic order that has consolidated power in the hands of the few, that has forced them to become global citizens instead of having some unique local identity or a true sense of being an American citizen.
Yeah! I warned you. You folks won't listen to me. I try it every day. I say it every day. I know that a lot of you out there, you do believe me, folks. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. It is a week from the election. This host told you what choice did Democrats have after the re-election of Donald Trump. What choice did they have? I said, are they going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden become Republicans? Oh, yes, they did. They all said, hey, I've got an idea. Let's abandon every bit of our ideology that we used to have a week ago. And let's join in. Let's actually open up the tent. It is interesting to watch my good friend Chris Murphy change his stripes. All of a sudden, he's a big tent populist. All of a sudden. I couldn't believe it. When I saw the video, I jumped out of my chair. I said, what did he just say? No way. Chris Murphy? That guy? The screamer and hollerer about Donald Trump and Trumpism? The guy who was pretty much governing against the will of the people and then saw this election? It's not like Donald Trump won Connecticut. He only gained 41% of the vote. It's a little less than 200,000, but whatever. They didn't even have this point of view. They didn't even have this point of view after the Lamont Bob Stefanowski election. Weren't even thinking of it. Craig says because of the 2028 campaign has begun. You're damn right it has. And everything that they thought was wrong with Donald Trump, now they think, oh, wait a minute, we should rethink these things. Now they're becoming more Trumpian. Now Trumpism is something of a fad. Folks, I'm here to tell you, it's nonsense. Don't believe the hype. Do not fall for this. You Democrats, you're going to get caught up in it because I know how Democrats are. You guys will change the stream easily. You'll all of a sudden pretend that you can easily just abandon your ideals and all of a sudden become a populist. Then we'll play more from Chris Murphy in a minute. But I went to the Capitol Report, ctcapitalreport.com. If you've never gone there, go there. All of a sudden, headline, Lamont gets Trumpy. Lamont's no longer for the EV mandate. Who knew? We've only been fighting him for years on it. Now, all of a sudden, EV mandate, nobody wants that. Yeah, I was kidding. I was just playing. I was playing around. Well, no one really wants that. I was throwing it out there. It was just an idea. These people, and again, it shows you exactly who Democrats, libs, the left, it shows you exactly who they are. They're chameleons. They are not true to form. They have no principle. And to watch Chris Murphy try to have a meaningful conversation on X to everyone, talking about what we need to do. We need to do this, and we need to try that. Listen to this. Let me play this for you. This bigger tent nonsense he's talking about. This is him again talking about a bigger tent.
So for me, those issues of true economic populism, moving power from people that have it to people that don't have it, that has to be the tent pole of our coalition. And here's the other hard truth we have to face. We cannot win if we don't build a bigger tent. And in order to build a bigger tent, we likely have to have economic populism as that tent pole and then allow into the tent people that do not agree with us on 100% of our core social, cultural issues.
So people who don't agree with you on your core social issues, right? So that means boys playing on girl sports. Yeah, we've got to let people in who disagree with that. We can't shun them. We can't cancel them. Good luck with that, Chris Murphy. Good luck with that. The extreme left of your party, the party that you still won't criticize. Right here in this post, you don't even criticize them. The people you have been held hostage like Hamas soldiers, you still won't recognize. You still don't call them out. Listen to what he says. He never mentions them.
As well as other hot button topics like guns and climate. I think we'd be better off fighting out discussions around some of those very difficult social and cultural issues inside our tent.
Oh, you want to talk about guns and climate? Not the LGBT stuff? Not the LGBTQ stuff? You don't want to talk about that, homie? Huh? Because you're scared to death to. You're never going to be able to change. You're never going to be able to. You can talk that nonsense all you want. But you're beholden. What are you going to do about Black Lives Matter when they leave you? What are you going to do with the radical left Black Lives Matter arsonist in your party? What are you going to do with them? Are you going to call them out? You can't. You're hamstrung. You're trying to have a conversation with a group of people who know nothing but intolerance. There's no tolerance on the left anymore. It's over. You either adhere to the rules of their game or you're done. Now, I understand that Chris Murphy may have. It may very well be true that he has got higher aspirations, that he very well wants to be a president or a presidential contender in 2028. But this lecture is falling on deaf ears with every one of his core constituency. And when I say core, I'm not talking about the masses. The core of his constituency are the power brokers in their, let's just say, alliance. The progressives. Believe it or not, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is your leader. Like it or not, Jayapal, whatever her name is, Pramila Jayapal, the leader of your party. Jamal Bowen may be gone, but until he is, his progressive wing of the Democrat Party is the future. The rest of these people are old and outdated. They're analog. You're never going to be able to gain any ground with populism. You've shunned Bernie Sanders, and the worst part is that you shunned Bernie Sanders, you shut him down, you destroyed his coalition, and you had a chance to take full advantage of it in 2016. But you know what your problem was? Here's the problem with Democrats. Bernie Sanders, if he indeed became the nominee in 2016, the Democrat Party would have had to do what it's trying to do now, mold itself into socialist Democrats. They would have had to have said that they are with Bernie Sanders and believed in Democrat socialism. Even though they truly do believe in it and they hated to be associated with socialism, they couldn't bear the idea of having to say, yes, that's who we are now. So they kneecapped him. And they pretend that they're not Marxist. They pretend that they're not, I don't know, I guess, communist. And now, do you really think, Chris Murphy, that it's just going to take an election that you guys can wake up a week later and change your stripes? How well did that work for Kamala Harris? She couldn't convince people of a change of stripes with a 4-year gap. No one believed her. She went from being anti-fracking to pro-fracking and couldn't explain how. How are you going to change your stripes now? No more EV mandates. The only reason why Lamont can't go for it is because he understands it won't work and he'll get voted out if he tries. It will destroy Democrats. They know it. They see the writing on the wall. Trump won. Trump won, and he didn't win just by the numbers. He won in areas that pretty much Lamont thought that he had in the bag, that Chris Murphy thought that they had in the bag. And they don't have it anymore. So all of that reign of terror, as it were, Democrats doing what they wanted to do against the will of the people, thinking they were on the right side of history on every issue. All of that virtue signaling that they did, it turned people off. And now, just like MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC's, and CBS's ratings, people are running from them like the Gila monster. No one wants to be associated with them. And they deserve it. They've isolated themselves. Chris, I appreciate the heart-to-heart, buddy. I appreciate it. I thought it was very Morning in America. I thought it was very fireside chat. But that airplane you hear in the background, sir, for me, it was almost ironic that there was an airplane flying. The only thing that was missing was that airplane crashing. Because that's what happened to your party a week ago today. It crashed. The thrill is gone. And all that ideologue or that ideology about this, that, and the third, and virtue signaling and feeling good about yourself and mental health and mental wealth and all that other nonsense wasn't putting any food on the table, wasn't gassing up any vehicle, wasn't getting anybody's rent reduced, wasn't getting them an opportunity to buy a house, to move, to advance at their job. It was doing nothing for the core values, the core issues in their daily lives. Let me give you another example of that. Chris Murphy trying to tell us that they used to be the party of the so-called working class. Listen to this.
First of all, we are not listening to the people we claim to represent. We claim to be the party of the working class, the party of poor people. And yet we let interest groups and think tanks tell us what those people need. That's why we end up with these relatively small ball solutions. I'm not saying they don't matter, but more roads and bridges, bulk negotiation of prescription drug prices, a little bit bigger tax credit for families with kids. That's not meeting the moment, because Americans are exhausted by a neoliberal economic order that has consolidated power in the hands of the few, that has forced them to become global citizens instead of having some unique local identity or a true sense of being an American citizen.
Being global citizens, you will have nothing and be happy. Yeah, remember that? Everyone watched it, social media. So there was no misinformation in that. Klaus Schwab told you, you will have nothing and be happy. And the innate American spirit said, no, I will not eat bugs. No, I will not give up the creature comforts of being an American citizen so I can be more like people in Indonesia. And you guys, John Kerry and Al Gore, showing your faces at those things, talking about how we are here to meet the moment, the global elites telling the plebes, telling the peons how to live. People got tired of it. It wasn't like you were warned. You wouldn't listen to the people telling you to knock it off. Oh, that's right. They were conservatives. They were Republicans. That's why. And no one listens to them. My mother used to say a hard head makes a soft behind. We'll get to the 5 o'clock focus because I think it's going to be on this one. I think it's going to be on this. We'll be asking you what you think about all of this. I'll give you the whole layout when we get there. But first, I've got to make an announcement. I got to make an announcement because we did confirm this morning. And I'm happy to say that I did this on my own. Not that I couldn't have asked for help. I should have asked for help. But I did it on my own. And I'm happy to say that on tomorrow's show at 4 o'clock, to answer all of these very, very pressing questions and much, much more, is going to be the mayor of New Haven, Justin Elicker, is going to be here. And Justin Elicker, the reason why he is going to be here, I don't know whether or not you know this, but he was talking on Sunday, on the Sunday show with Dennis House on WTNH. He was talking about the comments of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump talking about deporting illegals. You might remember he said this if you watched the show.
If the federal government should say, we're going to cut back on federal funding to New Haven because they're a sanctuary city, how much would that impact the city in terms of the money received?
Well, so they tried to do something similar in the past with the first Trump administration by trying to cut off funding. And at the time, there was a real legal response because it wasn't just places like New Haven, but there's a lot of cities around the nation that responded, and we'll be fighting back on that to make sure that we defend our values, but also protect people that are part of our community.
Is there a line where you have to stop fighting back? I know the Attorney General said this week that if the federal government should step into Connecticut to do certain things, that he would fight back. But how much can you fight back?
Yeah, I think that it's early to know exactly what's going to happen here, and we've already had meetings with a lot of our nonprofit partners in the community to try to anticipate what may happen.
So I'd like to ask Justin Elicker about that last statement about working with nonprofits to ensure that illegals stay in New Haven, much less the state, if not the country. We'll talk to him about that, why that is important to him, plus some other things. I've got plenty of audio that I'm going to ask him about. But he agreed to come on the show. He'll be here in the 4 o'clock hour tomorrow to talk about all that and much, much more. And again, with the changing of attitudes towards populism, Trumpism, whatever the case may be that we heard from Chris Murphy and now we're hearing from Governor Lamont, I would like to know if Justin Elicker is having maybe a change of heart on this immigration thing. Because believe it or not, that was a key issue in this election. Key. Kamala Harris may have won overwhelmingly in New Haven, but the state itself, 41%, 200,000 votes separated Kamala Harris from Donald Trump. Donald Trump gained grounds in Connecticut. And if immigration is the core issue, and this is a true wake-up call for the Democrats, what is that stance going to be in the future for this state? And I think they should reconsider it. Well, we'll ask him whether or not he will. Lori says, I'm curious if this goes to the Supreme Court. How would this play out? It may have to. I'm sure there's going to be people who are fighting it. I know that, William Tong has already said, the AG here in Connecticut said he's going to do whatever he can to fight it. But to be honest with you, I'm going to ask the citizens of Connecticut to fight back. Because I don't believe that that's in the interest of the people of Connecticut. I don't think that that has the people of Connecticut's best interest at heart. Because what they're fighting for is federal funding and state funding for illegals. That means it is taking away from very needy people in the state who are finding it really, really hard to not just pay their bills, but actually to get housing, to get homes. And people have got to start asking themselves, do they still want to go down this road? Knowing very well that the sentiment has changed. And the worst part is it's not just with American citizens. Immigrants who have come into the state of Connecticut legally feel the same way as homegrown Americans do. That their tax dollars, I'm sure they're more comfortable with that money going to people who need it, who are citizens of the state. Especially, can they walk and chew gum? Sure. But that shouldn't have to be an option. The people in the state of Connecticut, if not the country, should have its tax dollars go to the people or to help those or provide a social safety net for those who are citizens of the country. Not for those who have put nothing into earning people's hard-earned tax dollars. I think that's fair. But I want to hear from you. Do you believe the Democrats in this change of heart? Do you put any stock in it? Or are they just flailing and looking for, some sort of solution? We'll get to that. Your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Experience the power of the Hartford Symphony Orchestra with Brahms First under the brilliant leadership of music director Carolyn Kwan. November 15th through the 17th at the Bushnell. World-renowned cellist Inbal Segev will captivate you with Elgar's poignant concerto for cello in E minor. Then feel the triumph as the orchestra brings Brahms Symphony No. 1 to life, a symphonic tour de force that pays homage to Beethoven while declaring Brahms' unique voice. Tickets start as low as $10 for students. Call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
Nitro Circus is back with an all-new electrifying show. Our elite lineup features top athletes who will push the boundaries of what's possible with jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, and heart-pounding excitement. Experience world-class competition and unstoppable energy that will blow your mind and keep the entire family on the edge of their seats. Don't miss Nitro Circus, Friday, November 22nd, live at XL Center in Hartford. Get your tickets now at nitrocircus.com.
You love your city, but let's be honest, the commute, not so much. That's where the free Odyssey app can help. Download the app and follow your local news station so you can get the latest traffic reports or find if your train is on time before you walk out your door. Knowing all this gives you time to think about the essential things like, do I have time to get coffee? Download the free Odyssey app and search your local.
Laura, you're 100% right, and I'm going to bring that up to the mayor tomorrow, and thank you for that. Thank you for that article. That's going to be really pertinent in our discussion tomorrow.
Not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
And now, a WTIC news update.
49 degrees at 3:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Highs in the low 50s, windy this afternoon. Red flag warning in effect through 6 p.m., going down to about 30 overnight. U.S. flights suspended to Haiti after a Spirit Airlines flight from Fort Lauderdale and another flight were shot at.
The FAA has banned all civilian flights to
Craig, give me a break. There's a New Haven instead of New Haven.
airspace.
Talk about nitpicking.
The move comes after 2 U.S. passenger planes were hit by gunfire amid escalating gang violence in the Caribbean nation. No one was hurt on the Spirit Airlines and JetBlue planes.
CBS's Jim Krasula. State police say a Watertown man died in yesterday's crash on 91 in Wallingford. A truck driven by 56-year-old William Risley collided with the rear end of a tractor-trailer. Risley suffered fatal injuries. The tractor-trailer driver was also hospitalized. Donald Trump continues to fill his incoming administration with loyalists. He's choosing South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to lead Homeland Security. His one-time rival, Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, will be nominated for Secretary of State.
So how's he a loyalist?
CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang.
All of these names have one thing in common, and that is that the people have a fierce loyalty to President-elect Trump. And of course, that is something he values probably above all else.
A New York judge postponed a key ruling in Trump's conviction in the 2016 election interference case. Trump's lawyers have argued to dismiss the case based on the Supreme Court's ruling creating presidential immunity. Judge Juan Merchan now says he'll delay his ruling on dismissal until next Tuesday. The sentencing date of November 26th is stayed for now. After losing a state Senate race, Republican Chris Reddy has filed a complaint with the State Elections Enforcement Commission. Reddy lost to Democratic incumbent May Flexer by about 600 votes. He claims there are red flags based on votes cast in Mansfield, home to UConn. He's questioning same-day registrations by UConn students. Town registrars from both parties say all voter registration forms were accepted by the deadline of 8 p.m. on Election Day. They're confident the election results are accurate. The chairpeople of the town Democratic and Republican committees issued a joint statement saying they're confident the Mansfield votes were lawfully cast. The state commission issued a no comment today. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 297, S&P dropping 12 points. The NASDAQ is off 20 points. And we check the WTIC forecast.
Windy and cooler this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. That high of 54, going to feel like upper 40s at best at times with that north-northwest wind 15 to 25 miles an hour. Clear, windy, and colder tonight, the low down to 31. On Wednesday, we'll have plenty of sunshine. Another cool feeling day, the high of 51. Made to feel a little cooler by that north breeze. Now Thursday, we'll have periods of sun, the high of 48 for a chilly day. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
49 now in Hartford. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Life can be unpredictable at times, but you shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence. If you've been in an accident or work-related injury and it's not your fault, you need a lawyer who knows how to get you the fair and just compensation. At Brown, Panderas & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. with easy access to 1 million plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away, so the One can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, retirement, maybe even kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you really need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We're committed to helping protect your personal interests and the life you've built. Don't let divorce take more than it has to. Talk to us today.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Do you have shoeboxes full of old videotapes and photos with memories you'd love to share with the family this Christmas? Right now, get exclusive early access to Legacy Box's biggest deal of the year. Digitize your memories for just $9 per tape. That's right, only $9 to preserve and share your precious moments. VHS, VHS-C, Hi8, film reels, and more, saving you over $15 per item. Not to mention, when you digitize your memories now, Legacy Box sends all your memories back on the cloud, so they're easy to access by Christmas, and you can relive them with your family just in time for the holidays. You've heard about Legacy Box all year, but now is the best time to digitize your memories. Hurry, this $9 deal won't last long. Head to legacybox.com/value for early access to our best deal of the year. Don't wait. Secure your digitized memories by Christmas at legacybox.com/value.
Oh, I'm a orthopedic. 1 minute. Board certified.
Thank you, sir. Dr. John Herzog, who's certainly done his share of knee and hip replacements, but these days he's
I even feel like
his
this
patients to
microphone
look at
sounds better.
regenerative medicine.
Yeah, it does.
Available at QC Kinetics.
I'm kind of the anti-surgeon right now, and a lot of my buddies.
Have you been taping your show and looking at the WAV file and see how if it looks different?
And give your achy joints
Yeah.
lasting relief.
Every time
using
I do
highly
the promos and
concentrated
stuff,
healing
the
agents
wave
from
file
your
looks
own
a lot
body
different.
To repair and tissue.
We take the fluid out of you, we concentrate it, and put it in an area where they couldn't normally get to, and facilitate healing.
Are you suffering from constant pain due to arthritis or injury? Maybe it's time to look at alternatives to drugs and surgery at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in these exciting treatments.
What could be more natural than using your own body to heal yourself?
In 10?
For your free consultation,
call QC Kinetics.
40 time.
840-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, baby. We are back. Reese on the Radio. Let me read a couple of comments in the chat rooms. By the way, if you want to join the chat room, you can. You can sit at your desk like Tara P. Tara P says, I can't call in, so I sit at my desk and I go into the chat room and then I type into the chat room what I want to say because I can't. I said, that's what everybody needs to do. If you can't call in and you're listening at your desk, maybe you got like an earphone in the ear, whatnot, doing your job. No, boss, I'm not listening to Reese on the Radio. You can do that. You can chat by going to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Friend us on Facebook, on Rumble, or on X or Twitter, whichever you call it, and you can chime in right there, and I can see it right in front of me. I got a big, giant 72-inch screen with all of your comments sitting in front of me. Yeah, I do. It's 72 inches. Sitting in front of me so I can read your comments. And Tara says, I do not believe that the Dems like Lamont and Murphy had a change of heart. They haven't listened to residents in years. I think the Eversource increases. I think that they are trying to stay in office at the next election. 100% right, because they had an opportunity, right? And a clear example of that, Tara, was when we had Bob Duff, Senator Bob Duff, on the air. And my whole, I guess, the premise of my asking him on the air, or the premise of our discussion, was about, hey, how can we get together and work on this Eversource problem? And he immediately, turned it into a partisan issue, which made me go, you guys, you don't get it at all, do you? And he immediately started going after the Republicans and the Millstone. And I'm like, oh, dude, okay, it's going to be a fight. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's having to change of heart. So I'm inclined to agree with Tara here. I don't think that's going to happen. Craig Judge says loyalists as opposed to what? He's talking about at the top of the hour news, where I think Dave Mager said that, or described in the copy that Donald Trump was picking loyalists in his party. And I'm like, Marco Rubio, the whole "your hands are small" thing, that's not nothing loyalist about that. I thought that was funny. Joe K says that Senator Murphy says only what will benefit him and his party. I agree wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly, I agree. To the phones we go. Let's go to Fred in Middletown. How you doing, Fred?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. I'll pick up there. About Murphy, his party, he will abandon the Democrat Party. He's a Marxist/communist.
So he'll just change his stripes midstream. Like he'll change his stripes in a heartbeat just to get elected.
He'd become a Republican to advance the revolution.
Right.
And then, power. And right now it's about elections. But he'd just soon do away with elections.
I know. I find it incredibly odd. I mean, look, again, I've only been here 2.5 years, and Murphy sounded nothing like that a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
He described himself, neoliberal elite. He must assume that people don't know that that's him.
Right.
He's like, they won't know what these words mean. I can go ahead and say who the enemy is, describing himself. I swear. Now, this Elliker thing, you scored Elliker at 4 o'clock tomorrow?
4 o'clock tomorrow. Elliker, I confirmed it this morning. In fact, I didn't even have to press. I woke up this morning, went out, took a long walk with my wife, had some breakfast, and all of a sudden, I'm not expecting any text messages. I get a text message. Justin Elliker confirmed for tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and they asked for the telephone number to call in and everything. So, yeah, he'll be here.
So he is seeking re-election. Now, you don't...
He did. He said that during his interview with Dennis House.
Oh, right, yeah. Now, you don't particularly know this guy, Vinnie Penn, who's on in the mornings?
No, not familiar.
Okay. Well, he is on Elliker, Lamont, and Biden, just like he's a poet. He was the inspiration. He was the progenitor, the spark from his poetry prowess. Yes, and he just owns Justin Elliker. He calls him Ichabod Elliker. I don't know if you can take calls, if you'll have control.
I'll only have him for about 16 to 17 minutes, provided how we come out of the break in the 4 o'clock. But I've got all of my questions planned. I promise you. A lot of it is going to have to do with what he's doing with immigration, or his pushback on immigration with Donald Trump. But I am going to ask him, and I did tell them I would ask them about the street change, about the street name.
Okay, now one quick shot, but not to play program director here, but I have to admonish you, entreat you, plead with you to reach out to Vinnie Penn, just to let him know that you're having this guy on.
Okay.
Like, if he can give you a question and say, and Vinnie Penn wants to know X. I swear to God, it will be some great radio, and I will be forever in your gratitude.
I will. If Vinnie Penn is out there listening, get in touch with Reese on the radio.
He's not listening right now. Reach out to him.
Okay.
The real Vinnie Penn,
I'll find a way to get in touch with him. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Fred. Let's go to Tony in Southington. That's where he is. Hey, Tony, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, bud? I'm doing great. How about you, buddy?
I'm all right. What do you got?
Cool. Hey, I missed opening
the opening monologue.
Your show. Did you talk about the monologue? Did you guys talk about the Cheshire teacher? I got an opinion about that.
No, but go ahead, because I am going to talk. She's in the stupidest thing that I've read today. So go ahead.
Yeah, you have to watch the video if you can attain it. I tried listening at 12 o'clock with Tom Shattuck, and I didn't get through. But this woman is like egregiously, improper with threatening violence and death towards anybody who is Democratic. Not Democrat, Republican, conservative, or independent, or libertarian, that she wants to kill them if you voted for Trump.
Now listen, Tony, hold on for a second. Tony, I don't want you to take any thunder from me, but promise me, listen, at 4:05, right, at the opening of the 4:05 hour, I want you to listen to my small dissertation about Annie Dunleavy. You will not want to miss it, because I found out some secret information about her online that will tell you exactly who she is. Do not miss it.
Can I say one more quick thing?
Yeah.
She repeated this offense back in
2016. Oh, yeah, I'm well aware.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You want me to call back then?
No, I want you to listen at 4:05 because trust me, she's part of the stupidest thing I read today. Thank you. Mike is in Plainville. How we doing, Mike?
I was in town the other day, and I got attacked. I was called a Nazi.
What else is new?
A woman who was...
What else is new?
Nazi.
We're all being called Nazis.
A woman who's on the losing side.
Yeah.
Now, and I cavalierly explained to her, you know what, lady, I wouldn't make a good Nazi because I'm Polish and I'm Hungarian. I may look like a Nazi. I've got the light features. And I said, I might even be a Nordic-looking alien. You just don't know these days.
What? Yeah.
I had her so freaked out, I'm telling you.
That's the best way to push the back on them is to sort of give them.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I just,
it's pretty funny. It's entertaining
too. We're
too.
Gonna get it. And then I get home last night and I resumed watching Fox News. It's the only channel I watch.
Well, it is the preferred network of Nazis.
No, that's a good one. I love it. No. And then it's, oh my God.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate.
And then they're talking about Governor Healy from Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of that coming up. Listen to me. Do not.
He says, "Well, they're not going to kick any doors down and take out our citizens." Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Our citizens? They're not even legal.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Shouldn't be here. They ought to kick her door down and handcuff her with Chris Murphy and deport them.
Mike, thank you, sir. Let me get up out of here. George is in St. Louis. How you doing, George? George, what do you make of what do you think of all of these Democrats all of a sudden? Now, you probably one of the biggest sort of Paul Revere in all of this, talking about Democrat policy. You've raged against Chris Murphy. You've raged against Governor Lamont. Now, all of a sudden, they want to sound more and more Trumpian. What do you say to this nonsense?
Well, you got two choices. Either they're lying,
right,
or they're schizophrenic.
I'm going to go with the latter on this one.
I called because there's billions of dollars leaving the country right now, probably being deposited, and the money billions being deposited in foreign banks. And these are all the scams the Democrats have been into the last 4 years. I hope Elon Musk investigates this and starts convicting people. The extra money you're paying every month.
Yeah.
For energy, that's a scam. That's a climate change scam. Coal and gas. It runs about, I said this before, it runs about $25 a megawatt hour. Mm-hmm. You're paying for renewable energy closer to $85, $90 a megawatt hour. It's a scam.
What do you think?
That extra money is being deposited in Democrat accounts.
Let me ask you this, George. Don't you think, or are you remotely excited for what Elon Musk may very well expose in some of those sort of boondoggles?
I think he's going to find. He said he'll find $2 trillion in waste.
I think so
too. I
think
he's going to find probably closer to $6 trillion in waste.
You think that much?
And I think he's going to find probably 3 times that. For one thing, you could cut the employees of the federal government. You could at least cut it in half.
Yeah.
And I would especially cut those Democrats that are working for the party and not for the citizens of the country. There's Democrats embedded in the federal government that work for the party and not for you.
Yeah.
So I hope he trims the federal government. He cuts.
I want that thing exposed. I want news reports on the daily about how many things he's exposing that have been wasted that we don't even know. Regardless of, remember that report? That report we
was
used to
never
get
suicide
yearly,
center.
George, remember that report we used to get yearly on government waste, fraud, and abuse? And it was always like this big giant booklet.
You're not going to see that from the left wing media. You're not going to see reports like that coming down from the left wing media.
Yeah, that's why
it'll be from those news agencies that still practice, to still report the news.
Yeah. Thank you, George.
You know,
I got to take a hard break, buddy. Thank you as always. All right, let's take a break. We got more news, more views, and of course your phone calls coming up. So stick around. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Hi, Tom Shattuck here, and November is Veterans Month, a time to celebrate and honor the heroes who have served our country. This November, Awaken 180 Weight Loss is showing their appreciation for active
Hey, do you have that Dunleavy
by offering 15%
audio that
off
I sent
your
you yesterday?
entire Awaken 180 program. Free support for life included. It's a thank you for the sacrifice.
What happened?
No, it's okay. I'll find it.
Making this country what it is. This is special. Awaken 180 has never offered a discount, ever. If this incentive can help turn your focus on you, your health, your goals, and your happiness, I say go for it. Do what I did and choose the solution for weight loss. So if you're active duty, a veteran, or a spouse of one, this month is about you. Celebrate veterans with 15% off your Awaken 180 program. And as with all clients, receive free support for life after reaching your goal. Do what I did, and dozens of other radio guys I know did, who've lost a ton of weight. As a matter of fact, over 23,000 other people have done it too. Take control at awaken180weightloss.com.
Brian Shackman here for Go Rascal. You know, mortgage rates have plunged lately. Go Rascal seeing some of the lowest rates in over 2 years. Go Rascal's mortgage refi program is fast, easy, affordable, and they can help you lower your house payment in a matter of days. Actually, with Go Rascal, you can lock in a lower rate with virtually no paperwork and often no appraisal, and you can also use the opportunity to take cash out of your equity, pay off credit cards, car loans, and other high-interest debt. Go Rascal is a new, better kind of home loan company that runs circles around the banks. I mean, think about it. You can snag a rate we haven't seen in over 2 years, pay off your credit cards, and lower your house payment. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. Call Go Rascal right now. They've got home loan rates with APRs you will not believe. Get your free quote right now, 860-996-8610 or GoRascal.com. Take advantage of new lower rates right now at 860-996-8610, GoRascal.com. That number one more time, 860-996-8610. Equal housing lender, NMLS 2072896, subject to lender approval.
Woohoo! And
Whoa, a minute.
out. I'm so stressed from shopping, I couldn't find anything. Have you tried shopping jewelry television, JTV? I don't know. Everyone in my family is so different. JTV has thousands of jewelry styles, artisan, diamonds, pearls, colored gemstones, watches, even gift sets. I shop on TV and online.
New JTV customers save up to $40 when you shop jtv.com/radio.
Now, can you relax? Yes. Another round? Yes.
What do you call the NordVPN Black Friday deal, huh? The Block Friday deal. Because you block online threats. Black Friday, Block Friday. Get it? It's hilarious. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal and block online threats now. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic. Its Threat Protection Pro tool will defend you against web traffic. And malware-ridden downloads. Get the special Black Friday deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. Let's get right to the phones. But do not miss at 4:05, stupidest thing that I read today. It's about Annie Dunleavy. Stupidest thing I read today is not what she did, because I have that audio. I'll play it for you. Yesterday, for those of you who missed, you cannot miss the opening monologue. This is important. The opening monologue of the show always starts with the soundbite. Always. And yesterday's opening monologue was Annie Dunleavy. You guys missed it. I had to do a whole thing where she had so many F-bombs. I had to bleep out the whole thing. But yeah, we started the show with her video. And of course, there is new news about her as well. We'll get into that. But there's something interesting that you may not have known. I looked it up, and yeah, I think I finally understand the character of Annie Dunleavy. You're going to be amazed at what I found out. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to Joe in New Hampshire. How you doing, sir?
Hi there. Hey, a couple of things. Number one, before I get to the Trump meeting and no Melania at the meeting. We've done some research. My friends up here in New Hampshire, we know people in Connecticut. And we can give you a definitive reason why George Logan did not win his race, which was very winnable under, the climate. You want to take a guess why he lost that race?
Would not embrace Donald Trump.
Well, that's a sidebar. True.
Okay.
But you remember the debate with the teacher? What happened during the debate? A psychopath jumped up on the stage menacing at Johanna Hayes.
Oh.
He just stood behind the podium safely watching instead of trying to get between them. And he lost buku.
Oh, yeah. You don't defend a woman under any circumstance. I mean, you look like a hero if you step up and get in the way. That's such a great point. Because that's
if
like.
He had gotten between them, he not only would have not lost the 20,000 women votes he would have gotten, he probably would have gained 10,000 more. He would have won that race. So goodbye, George Logan. I hope you don't, plan on running for anything again. I mean,
I think he's done. I think he's done. I think if anything, he'll probably run for probably something like maybe local, like maybe like a local mayor or something like that. Like maybe, it's a likelihood there.
Yeah.
I think his political fortunes are pretty much a wrap.
Yeah, that was self-inflicted. Now, getting to this White House meeting Wednesday, I'm very concerned about Trump physically going there. Now, Melania, I don't blame her.
Oh, you talk about the meeting in D.C. with Biden.
Right. Now, all those hit teams are out there, and they're going to know for a fact that he's there Wednesday. It's all going to be announced, and he's a sitting duck. I mean, so is Biden. So is anybody within the perimeter of the White House. Something could happen. If I were Trump, and I've told Corey, I've sent Corey Lewandowski an email, and I think it would really be a zinger on top of it. Trump would say, I'll do a Zoom meeting with you, President Biden.
I don't think, listen, it's protocol for presidents or incoming presidents to meet with the incumbent. It's decorum. I don't think that we should concern ourselves that much about it. What I would love to be is a fly on the wall to listen to that exchange with all the rhetoric that's gone back with the constant, I'd love to get that guy behind a high school kind of nonsense. I'd like to smack him in the ass kind of stuff, whatever that rhetoric is about. I'd love to see.
Yeah, but my whole point is Trump physically being there, and all these hit teams know for a fact he's going to be there.
Yeah, but listen, nobody.
Listen,
Joe Biden, they're going to keep. This is going to be the most protective detail ever known to man. I think all that stuff is washed up. I got to take a break, but let's get into the BPS Traffic Center. Our first check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. If you are heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91 looking slow.
That was perfect.
East Windsor.
Nice phone drop right into the traffic. Very nice.
With the road work there. Now, once you get into Hartford, you're going to
Zach, welcome to the chat room. This is the infamous chat room, sir.
Another bump as you move down by exit 22 in Cromwell, and then you're going to slow again as you move up on exit 20 between 20 and 19. We had an accident on the right shoulder that was slowing you down there. Some residual delays with that. Northbound 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound is tied up approaching 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow. Bissell Bridge into South Windsor. If you are traveling on the eastbound side of Route 2, you're looking good. East Hartford into Glastonbury. 2 westbound. Got some slow traffic now as you move up on exit 11 in Glastonbury on the Glastonbury-Marlboro line. Heading into Middletown right now, westbound 84 tied up 26 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound a little bit slow by exit 18. If you're traveling into New Haven, northbound Parkway delays 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound, you've got slow traffic from 46 down to 42 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News.
You said I'm a size queen. I'm not a size queen, It's a 72-inch screen. Just saying. It's really big so I can see everybody.
Going to feel like upper 40s at best at times with that north-northwest wind at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Clear, windy, and colder tonight. The low down to 31. Plenty of sunshine on our Wednesday.
Zach, don't worry about it. That's what this is for.
Will feel like it's
Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining and following, by the way.
A cooler day Thursday, bordering on chilly with periods of sun. The high of 48. A bit of a breeze out of the north-northeast again. Breezy on Friday with clouds and sun, the high of 53. Again, going to feel like 40s for much of the day with the north-northwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Saturday, it'll be windy with a mix of clouds and sun, that high 54 feeling much cooler. Partly sunny, still breezy on Sunday, the high of 57. The north-northwest winds still at 10 to 20 miles an hour. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air.
Be right back.
WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
48 degrees at 4 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. House control has not been called yet, with Republican wins at 215, 3 short of the number needed, but the GOP is preparing for control.
Congressional Republicans say they will hit the ground running once President-elect Donald Trump takes office.
We are ready to deliver on America's mandate.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says 8 years ago, the GOP was not prepared for Trump's win, and Congress wasted precious time. Not this time.
We will be ready on day one. We are prepared this time.
Even though the House majority is too early to call, Johnson says he expects unified GOP control, paving the way toward enacting Trump's agenda. The Speaker says the president-elect will visit with House Republicans tomorrow on Capitol Hill, likely before stopping here to meet with President Biden. Sagar Meghani at the White House.
A New York judge postponing a key ruling on whether to dismiss Trump's conviction in the 2016 election interference case. Trump's lawyers have argued to dismiss the case based on the Supreme Court's immunity ruling. Judge Juan Merchan says he'll delay his ruling until next Tuesday. CBS's Katrina Kaufman.
We have to wait a week to see what the judge is going to decide here. But essentially what he is determining is whether the Supreme Court's immunity ruling applies to this case in a way that the verdict should be thrown out completely.
Sentencing dates of November 26th is stayed for now. 37 years in federal prison for a former Waterbury resident prosecutors call a repeat child sexual predator. WTIC's Morgan Cunningham reports.
61-year-old Jesus Maldonado pleaded guilty in June of 2023 to charges of attempted enticement of a minor to engage in sexual activity and other offenses after he had been arrested over his attempts at having sexually explicit conversations and trying to meet with whom he believed was a 13-year-old Rhode Island girl. Federal prosecutors say Maldonado was actually talking with an undercover agent at that time. Maldonado had previously been convicted and incarcerated on 3 separate occasions for sexually assaulting minors, one of whom he impregnated, and another of whom he transported over state lines to sexually assault. He was also separately convicted and sentenced for failing to register as a sex offender. At the end of his latest sentence, Maldonado would be required to have federal supervision for life. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
Teacher in Cheshire removed from the classroom temporarily after a social media video went viral with the teacher raging about the election of Trump and suggesting possible violence in response to post-election arguments. Police are investigating. Benjamin Belancic is a school parent and teacher.
I go by what the IP say, and that's what I'm there for. I'm not here to put any biases I may have on your children.
The audio from WFSB, the school superintendent says Cheshire schools have been getting lots of calls and emails about the video from people around the country. State police say a Watertown man was killed in yesterday's crash on 91 in Wallingford. A truck driven by 56-year-old William Risley collided with the rear end of a tractor trailer. Risley suffered fatal injuries. That's the crash that had 91 northbound shut down all afternoon yesterday. And a federal judge blocks a new Louisiana requirement that the 10 Commandments be displayed in every public classroom. The judge calls it unconstitutional. The Louisiana Attorney General said there will be an immediate appeal. On Wall Street, the Dow closes down 382 points. S&P dropped 17. NASDAQ dropped 17 as well. Sports, the Celtics host Atlanta, the Bruins in St. Louis. Number 3 UConn men play Lemoyne tomorrow in Hartford. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, I'm Joe with Say.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-0000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's time for the stupidest thing that I read today.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do.
And people of color and poor people and gay people and all the people that I care about aren't going to be safe in America. Neither the are you guys. Just because you won doesn't mean we don't remember who the you voted for.
That is Annie Dunleavy. Now, Annie Dunleavy is, I believe, a special ed teacher at the Cheshire schools. And as you heard at the top of the hour, she has been put on leave. And I think that's appropriate, but this idea that she allegedly makes threats, folks.
You're not in the clear. And just please, please don't test your gangster on me, because you will end on a stretcher, gone forever. So serious. Nobody can talk to me unless you want to swing. If you want to fight, text me, call me, whatever. Anybody else, stay the out of my face.
Annie Dunleavy apparently has done this back in 2016. But here's the interesting thing about it. And by the way, if you want to hear more about this story or even watch the video, go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. But I did a little bit of digging. Just a little bit of digging. And I wanted to get into the mind frame of Annie Dunleavy. And so I found this little site. You ladies might be more familiar with it than us guys. It's a website called Goodreads. Ever heard of it? It's a place where people go to get books or read books online. And then you give your review. But the list of the books that you're reading online are listed there. It even tells you how your progress is going on the books. And the last book that Annie Dunleavy read, this is my favorite, I'm Glad My Mom Died. Oh, yeah. Go look it up. I'm not kidding. You can find out Annie Dunleavy's list of books. Her picture's there, so I'm not picking this one. This isn't someone else. Here are some of the other books. To Kill a Mockingbird, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Me and My Dog. To Kill a Mockingbird, she read twice. This is another interesting book on Annie Dunleavy's book list. Prelude to Prison, Student Perspectives on School Suspension. Syracuse Studies on Peace and Conflict Resolution. Yeah, you can go a little deeper. Of course, there's some 50 Shades books in there as well. Yes, she has the 50 Shades book in there. And the one that gives me pause, every psychopath reads it, The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Wow! I didn't think that would be on the list. I'm just kidding. Let's get into the traffic with Mark Christopher in a BPS traffic center. Catcher in the Rye. Who didn't David Clark? What's that guy's name? The guy who shot Lennon. Didn't he read that book too, Mark? He read that book, and the other guy. I think that John Hinckley read that book. These guys are every assassin. If you watch the movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, did you ever see that?
No.
Oh my God, with Julia Roberts and Mel Gibson. So it is always believed that, serial assassins, or assassins for that matter, have all read The Catcher in the Rye. And
Mark David Chapman.
Yeah, Mark David Chapman. So the character, Jerry, in the movie, he has to buy The Catcher in the Rye, but he's never read it. But he has to keep buying copies of it. And in his home, he has like 9-10 copies of Catcher in the Rye, because it's supposed to be the alleged book that every assassin, or three-name assassin, has ever bought.
Yeah, I've never really thought about killing somebody, so that's why I haven't read the book yet. Just hasn't entered my mind. I don't know. It's crazy. I've just never really thought about killing anybody.
The only killing you do, my friend, is that on traffic reports. You kill it there, sir.
All right. Thanks, Reese. I appreciate that. And if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of 91, got some slow traffic between 44 and exit 42 as you move east Windsor into Windsor Locks. We've got the right lane blocked there in the Dexter Coffin Bridge with the road work. After that, slow in 34 down at 32A and B. Then you've got tight traffic again approaching 20 down to 19 in Meriden from an earlier accident. Northbound side 91 moving well. Cromwell through Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows approaching 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing approaching 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 eastbound some sluggish traffic. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 to the 84 West merge. Quiet Middletown. If you're heading into Waterbury, 84 eastbound a little slow by 18. Westbound side of 84 tied up from 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're traveling 691 westbound, some slow traffic between 7 and exit 8B heading to 84 west. 84 eastbound in Danbury slowing by 5. And if you're heading into New Haven, southbound Parkway, you've got delays 60 into the West Rock. Northbound Parkway slowing 59 to the West Rock. South 95 is tied up 46 down to 42 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
Well, it's been a chilly day, breezy too. As we head through tonight, it'll be clear, windy, and colder. The low down to 30 degrees. Plenty of sunshine as we make our way on into the Wednesday. The low humidity and dry brush are going to result in an elevated fire threat as we've still got a bit of a breeze out of the north. That high of 50, likely to feel like it's in the 40s throughout much of the day, again, with that bit of a breeze out of the north. Thursday, periods of sun, a chilly day, the high of 48. Friday, breezy with a mix of clouds and sun, the high jumping up to 58, but the north-northwest winds cranking up again 10 to 20 miles an hour. Windy with a mix of clouds and sun Saturday, the high up to 60. Again, a high fire threat throughout the weekend with those northwest winds Saturday, 15 to 25 miles an hour, and still 10 to 20 miles an hour on Sunday. Partly sunny, breezy, mild, the high Sunday of 62. Right now, it's 48 in Danbury, 50 in Bridgeport, 48 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon. Now at McDonald's, get a head start on your morning with any sized iced coffee in any flavor for just $1.29 during breakfast hours only. Price of participation may vary.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 customers would recommend AAA insurance to a friend? 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 people don't even like Philly cheesesteaks. More loved than the most loved sandwich in the city of brotherly love? Does that make us siblings? Well, we do treat our customers like family. Legendary service and superior coverage from AAA Insurance. Something 9 out of 10 people would recommend. Find out why at AAA.com/insurance and get a quote. Based on a 2023 customer survey. Insurance provided by CSAA Insurance Exchange.
Come on, a minute.
It's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by calling 844-300-LEAF to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water, and it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty, so you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Call Leaf for a free inspection and estimate and to save up to 30%. Dial 844-300-LEAF. That's 844-300-LEAF.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Turn that up, man. That right there. That's the end. I gotta fix this wire. There we go. He may be a catcher. Oh, yeah. Anyway, it's Reese on the radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. Let's get to the phones. Let's not wasting time. Ralph's in South Carolina. Ralph, are you buying this nonsense with with Chris Murphy and Ned Lamont, with now all of a sudden they're going to moderate to the center, if not to the right?
You got a better chance of seeing God. You really do. You got to realize, and I'm sure you do, Connecticut is a blue state.
Mm-hmm.
They could run, and I'll give you what Nancy Pelosi said. They could put a glass of water with a D after its name, and it'll win.
Yeah, exactly. You're 100. I said that. What do you know? I said that all year. That's all I said was that they could run a dolphin and say with sunglasses, and the Democrats would vote for them.
Absolutely, because these people don't have the brain God gave a gnat to say, okay, I'm not going to look at party. I'm going to look at this person where they stand on issues that are important to me. And the thing that really gets me is, it's funny, but it's not funny, Reese. You listen to these newscasters talk about why the Democrats lost, saying that there was a lot of
racism and misogyny.
Racism and sexism.
Mm-hmm.
These are the same people who said vote for Kamala because she's a black female.
Exactly.
So these are the biggest hypocrites that are walking the face of the earth. They really are. The reason I voted for Trump, and I think I speak for most people. I may be wrong, because of policy.
Sure.
The border is so important to me, Reese. Do you imagine how many terrorists have come over that border that we don't know about?
Yep.
That we may find out about a few years down the road and lose many, many Americans. And these people they take no responsibility if anything happens. And another thing too that bothers the heck out of me, and I'm sure it bothers you, they let all these people in. They didn't vet them. They have no idea who they are, where they come from.
And they had no intention. But remember, they had no intention of vetting them. What they did was allow them to come in and then pretty much finance them with the return of eventually your state legislature, wherever these folks win, or the city legislature, would eventually find a way for these people to vote. And then they would do the wink, wink, and the nod, nod, and go, remember who got you here. That's all.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. But you know what? You talk about like Murphy. I would have asked Murphy, would you have one of these illegals that came into this country not vetted? Would you let them babysit for your children or grandchildren? Wouldn't you think the answer would have been?
That is a great question. I might consider it for tomorrow's interview with Mayor Elliker. Let me go, Ralph. I've got to move on. I got a whole line. Thank you, man.
You have a great night.
Thank you, man. You too. Jeff's in Marlboro. How we doing, Jeff?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Reese. How about you, dude?
I'm good, sir. What do you got?
Yeah, so, well, I called you dude and you called me sir, so I guess I should call you sir.
I'm always going to do that. That's just my thing. No. It's not about you. I always refer to everyone as sir and ma'am. That's just my deal.
Yeah, so this was a teacher, Annie Dunleavy?
Yeah, Annie Dunleavy out of Cheshire.
Yeah, so she says, anybody want to swing on me? And these days we're always talking about equity, so she made the offer, you know.
First of all, I don't think that anyone should ever approach this young lady at all. She seriously needs, without a doubt, that the fact that she would do this in 2016, obviously not reprimanded because everyone knows about it, then to do this again in 2024, clearly not having not learned her lesson, and is doing it again and has become public. And instead of just saying, okay, look, I'm maybe a little unhinged here, or I may be out of sorts, that maybe she should just come forward and say, you know what, I'm really wrong because I'm letting things like this affect my common sense, that I'm clearly too involved in things that I cannot control, and maybe I should seek some help. Because all these people ever talk about is mental health. All they ever talk about is having good mental health. Well, why not prescribe some for this young lady?
It's affecting her career.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably affecting her family. I don't know what kind of family she's got, but hey, you know, she wants to work it out, you know.
Well, you know what? I want to say this. This was an interesting take on this, and I tend to agree. And I've made this statement earlier when Governor Lamont wanted to take cell phones, or has been taking cell phones out of schools. Let me get to I have his comment. It wasn't Brandon. I apologize. Zach was the person who said it. Zach says that he believed that this is the reason why we should have cell phones in the classroom or children to wear body cams, because what if this woman is like this unhinged online on Twitter or TikTok, whatever the case may be? Imagine what she is like in a room full of special needs children.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 50-50 on that cell phone in the
So am I.
thing, but yeah, it's I can see it. I can see it, because then people might not even believe these kids when they say, "Oh, my teacher said this," or "My teacher did that," And
Yeah. Right, exactly. It has a check and balance. And I think, look, at this rate, when we know the teachers have become unhinged, I think about that Texas teacher that was telling her students to call certain individuals minor attracted people because you're not supposed to judge people. We had other teachers who were segregating classrooms based on color. These things have to be reported. The only reason why we found out half of these things was because of COVID, because we had those lockdowns and kids at home. So I don't trust the school system today. I just don't. CRT and critical race theory and other gender studies notwithstanding.
Yeah, well, it's like trying to label Jeffrey Dahmer as like a murder hobbyist.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you, sir. Let's get to who's down here. Steve. Steve's in Andover. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, good afternoon. I tried talking to Tom earlier about this, but we got cut off by the news, so I'll bring it up with you. One of the things, and this Dunleavy kind of highlights it, but the interesting thing you just brought up about Murphy and Lamont, claiming to come to the center. One of the things that I'm very concerned about is how little noise is actually being made. Meaning, on Wednesday, I fully expected cities to be on fire.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. I had to take a trip to South Carolina. I actually brought 2 extra magazines with me because
Really?
I didn't know what I was going to face when I left.
Even in Ruby Red, South Carolina, you were concerned?
But getting from here
to getting there. Okay, I got you. Okay. Oh, you were driving. That's right. Good point.
No. Down there, I'm in God's country.
Right.
It was getting there. So, but the lack of noise is what concerns me. And I am really concerned about the potential for an assassination on Trump and Vance, because something is brewing here. There's no way these people who burned down whole cities and everything else in 2020 and 2021, they're not. This is this ocean getting sucked back into itself before the tsunami comes over the horizon.
You know what? Can I tell you why I don't believe that's?
We need to be aware of what's going on.
No, I get you. I believe. Listen, at all times we should always keep our head on a swivel. And you're a gun owner, so you understand that, and you get that we live in trifling times. Any one of us can be a target at any given time because you don't know what kind of person is out there. But that being said, look, the activist class is immediate and it is resilient, but it must be immediate. We might get a protest on Inauguration Day, right? We may get the pink hat ladies on Inauguration Day, but I do believe that the reason why we haven't seen it is because of the coalition of Trump's campaign this time around. We saw so many people in those groups that Democrats used to hold run to Donald Trump's campaign. And that, I think, took a lot of the air out of the divider, because now think about what they're doing. Now they're calling black men and Latino men sexist. They're attacking the people that they swore up and down they were here to protect. They're dunking on those guys. And I know that the reason why they're attacking them is because they've been defeated and they've also been deflated. So they don't really have, now Americans are sick and tired, and I do believe this is true. They're sick and tired of being preached to by the activist and the elitist class. They don't have any reign. Look how many DAs that were doing this no cash bail who have now been pretty much kicked out. We got Gascon in LA. I think there was another woman in Michigan. these district attorneys who were pretty much turning these streets into hellholes. And now all of a sudden those things have changed. So I don't really think that there's a lot of fervor for that kind of destruction that we saw in 2020.
Well, here's the way I disagree with you on that is this. Then how do you explain immediately, and I mean immediately, after Israel was attacked and they retaliated, all these college campuses had kids with the exact same pup tents on their campuses. They all had the same signs. They all had the same stuff. It was all that stuff was planned and funded well ahead of time.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So,
but guess what? Guess what they didn't know? Guess what they didn't know? They didn't know that it would have a backlash on the Democrat Party because, remember, it was an anything goes Democrat Party before this election. No one believed that Donald Trump would get a stronghold on the sort of disillusioned American who had had enough of these college protests, the burning down of cities, the Black Lives Matter, the culture wars, the telling people how they're supposed to behave, and if they don't, they get canceled. They had no idea. They thought that that ideology was working, and it was the future of the party. When they did that on the college campuses, they went, again, one step too far. And they threw the kitchen. That, to me, it wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back. It was piling on to a back that was already broken. And that's the reason why it happened. So I get what you're saying. It was a well-coordinated attack on college norms and college campuses across the country. But the American people saw that and said, and what was also interesting, I'll tell you another one, you don't know this, but I had to explain this to one of my stepdaughters. She's a part of the LGBTQ community who is fighting for freedom in Gaza. When Kamala Harris became the nominee, she abandoned the Gaza supporters and went to Kamala Harris. And guess what the Gaza supporters did? They went online and attacked black girls and black women for abandoning them. They turned on themselves. That's the reason why you're not going to see it. Because again, they for some odd reason, what happens in the Democrat Party or what happens with leftists, when each of their needs are not met, it becomes a circular firing squad, which is where we are right now.
Oh, well, I mean, you saw that in the old Soviet Union. You saw that in Mao's China. Now, records have come out. You literally saw that for real. So here's the only thing I'll tell you.
Yes.
Is if you're right, then we are golden. But if I'm right,
I will take the L and I will give you credit.
I'm just saying, we still can't just slough off and not be prepared.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Steve, you're 100% right on that.
So I'm just saying we all got to keep our eyes open because I don't trust them.
I don't either. Hey, I don't know, Steve, if you caught the show last week. I said after the election, and I said the day before the election, the fight never ends because it never ends for them. So they can moderate all they want. But we don't just, once it's over, like when we win the election, nobody gets a sigh of relief. The work begins.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. They've already put the work and the planning ahead for 2028 and probably 2032.
I agree. Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you for the time. We'll get to the rest of your phone calls. Thank you for waiting, and I appreciate you. But it's now for another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now on the southbound side of I-91, look for some slow traffic as you move down from East Windsor into Windsor Locks. You got the road work on the Dexter Coffin Bridge between 44 and 42. That's taking out the right lane, so a delay there. Now, after that, you're going to see delays 35 down to 32 A and B, a little slow by 28. More slow traffic from exit 23 down to 22, Rocky Hill into Cromwell, and the Route 9 interchange. And you're back in the stop and go again, 21 in Cromwell down to 19 in Meriden. That was kicked off from an earlier accident. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching 56 Governor Street to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you've got delays about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 to the 84 West merge. 291 slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. If you're heading 9 northbound, look for delays 30 to 31 in Berlin. And again from exit 22 in Berlin, 32 in Berlin. Let's get it right up to 34 in New Britain. Southbound on 9, you've got delays 25 down to exit 23 in Berlin. If you're heading 84 eastbound, Waterbury slowing by 18. Westbound 84 is tied up 26 in Cheshire to 25 in Waterbury. Again, some slow traffic, 18 to 17 on the westbound side of 84 in Waterbury. Southbound Parkway slowing by exit 60 in Hamden. Northbound Parkway delays approaching 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound New Haven slows 46 down to 42 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the WTIC.
I hope it's done with
If you or
much a
someone you
kinder
care
and
about
gentler
has been
version of
injured
it,
in an
Zach.
accident, you need the Carter Mario Law Firm, Connecticut's firm for the injured. We are ready to fight for you 24/7. So go to getcarter.com or call us at 877-GET-CARTER.
WTIC weather.
Windy and cooler this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. That high of 54, going to feel like upper 40s at best at times with that northwest wind 15 to 25 miles an hour. Clear, windy, and colder tonight, the low down to 31. On Wednesday, we'll have plenty of sunshine, another cool feeling day, the high of 51, made to feel a little cooler by that north breeze. Now Thursday, we'll have periods of sun, the high of 48 for a chilly day. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
47 degrees in Hartford at 4:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Donald Trump continues to fill his incoming administration with loyalists. He's choosing South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to lead Homeland Security. His one-time rival, Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, will be the nominee for Secretary of State. Meantime, on Capitol Hill.
The House will be in order.
Congress returned for a lame duck session Tuesday. Earlier in the day, House Speaker Mike Johnson promised to hit the ground running on what he called the mandate voters gave to President-elect Donald Trump.
The American people want us to implement and deliver that America First agenda. And we have to do that while we have that energy and that excitement.
Johnson said he expects Republicans to maintain control of the House, even as more than a dozen races are still being decided.
CBS's Nicole Skanga reporting Republicans have won 215 seats, 3 short of taking the majority. Democrats are at 206, including all 5 seats from Connecticut. Trump meets with President Biden tomorrow at the White House. CBS's Ed O'Keefe says it's a meeting that did not happen when the roles were reversed.
Outgoing President Biden is willing to extend a courtesy that then outgoing President Trump did not to President-elect Biden roughly 4 years ago. You'll recall that when he won, President Obama had President-elect Trump here to the White House, and an orderly transition, or at least one was offered to the Trump team. 4 years later, when Trump was disputing the results of the election, no such seamless transition was called for by the outgoing president.
After losing a state Senate race, Republican Chris Reddy has filed a complaint with the State Elections Enforcement Commission. Reddy lost to Democratic incumbent May Flexer by about 600 votes. He claims there are red flags based on votes cast in Mansfield, home to UConn. He's questioning same-day registrations by UConn students. Now, town registrars from both parties say all voter registration forms were accepted by the deadline of 8 p.m. on Election Day, and they're confident the election results are accurate. The chairpeople of the town Democratic and Republican committees issued a joint statement saying they're confident the Mansfield votes were lawfully cast. The state commission issued a no comment today. On Wall Street, the Dow was down 382, S&P dropped 17, the NASDAQ dropped 17. Sports, the Celtics host Atlanta, Boston Bruins in St. Louis. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
If fashion is your thing, eBay is it. eBay's where I find all my favorites, from handbags to iconic streetwear, all authenticated. For real. This time, a little Supreme, some Gucci. I even have that vintage Prada on my watch list. That's why eBay's my go-to for all my go-tos. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love.
Do you have shoeboxes full of old videotapes and photos with memories you'd love to share?
Oh, man.
Christmas. Right now, get exclusive early access to Legacy Box's biggest deal of the year. Digitize your memories for just $9 per tape. That's right, only $9 to preserve and share your precious moments. VHS, VHS-C, Hi8, film reels, and more, saving you over $15 per item. Not to mention, when you digitize your memories now, Legacy Box sends all your memories back on the cloud, so they're easy to access by Christmas, and you can relive them with your family just in time for the holidays. You've heard about Legacy Box all year, but now is the best time to digitize your memories. Hurry, this $9 deal won't last long. Box.com/value for early access to our best deal of the year. Don't wait. Secure your digitized memories by Christmas at legacybox.com/value.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio. And I sent a message out to I believe she's a psychiatrist, but a woman by the name of Amanda Calhoun at Yale. And I've been trying to get her on the air. And for what reason, might you ask? Well, Amanda Calhoun was on Joy Reid's show over on MSNBC. And I'm starting to see this with a lot of these therapists on television. Doctors, thought provokers, whatever you might call them. But they are on television telling people to avoid their family over the election. I say again, to avoid their family, moms, dads, sisters, and brothers. And why, in my head, I'm asking myself, why would these people, therapists, whose usual job, at least when I was growing up, these people were supposed to help you forge better relationships with your family. Got a hard time with an overbearing mom? See a therapist. Husband is a mama's boy? See a therapist. That's usually what I've got childhood trauma. See a therapist so you can find a way to get over it. But to watch this person, Amanda Calhoun, at Yale, I might add, Yale, saying that you should tell your parents that who they voted for affects you in a way that you don't want to see them over the holidays. Thanksgiving and Christmas seems like malpractice to me. I mean, am I bugging? Am I out of my gourd? These people are, and this is the reason why these Ivy League blowhards and these so-called trend leaders, whatever they may be, I don't know what they are. This is the reason why I laugh at these folks. They wonder why they lose elections. They wonder why their ideas, no one ever runs to them, or people run away from them. They're damaging relationships. Why? I thought that their job was to bring people closer together. Can you imagine that? Imagine if old Roland here would have voted for Kamala Harris. Me voting for Donald Trump, and I would have taken these people's advice and I would have say, Roland, I don't know if I could do the show with you anymore. You voted for her, you voted against Maya. No. Or if Roland would have done that to me, let's say he would have go to the front office and go, Janine, I don't think I could work with this guy. He's a Trump supporter. I just can't. Can you imagine that?
That has happened to everybody before me.
Is that real? Are you serious that has happened to you?
No, that's happened to a lot of the producers that came before me.
Really? They left because of politics?
Yeah, because of Trump.
Wow. Now again, you see that? And you know what? They left, right? They're gone, right?
They're gone.
Can you imagine not taking traffic reports from our good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center because of who he voted for? You would sooner ignore him and stay in hours of traffic because he voted for the wrong person. Can you imagine that, Mark Christopher, in the BPS Traffic Center?
I cannot imagine that. People got to get over this stuff. They take this stuff way too personal.
It's insane.
I remember growing up, nobody used to talk about who they voted for. It was kind of, I don't know, was it like that when we were growing
No,
up?
it's funny because when I was growing up, it was like, I remember the first time I was in the 3rd grade, and I remember saying to Mr. Gelman, hey, who's this Ronald Reagan guy? And he grabbed me by the arm and pulled me into the classroom. He said, who sent you?
Oh, my God.
Because people were like, they were really hush-hush about who they voted for.
So
And
I'm in 2nd grade, right?
Yeah.
And me and my best friend, he's still my best friend. I don't know, we met in 1971. But they did this mock poll, and it was Nixon and, I can't remember his name now. McGovern,
yeah.
And I think me and my buddy were the only two that voted for McGovern, and everybody else voted for Nixon. How did that turn out?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, there was a teacher just recently. A student's mother found out that in a classroom, a grade school classroom, they had asked the kids to pick who they would vote for, and the kids who picked Trump, the teacher wouldn't allow them to be a part of a pizza party. If they voted for Kamala, they gave her pizza. It's insane.
Indicators that that person should not be teaching a class.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
what the heck?
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Oh, my God.
Okay, I can't keep you anymore, please.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. We got plenty of time, Reese. We got all the time in the world. Hey, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, south.
You expecting Steve Parker?
No, I didn't know he was calling. What's he got?
We've got.
I don't know who it is.
From Bridge in the.
He's calling the interview line.
The hotline, yeah.
Once you get into Hartford,
I don't know who Steve Parker is.
All right. By exit 28. If you're traveling south of that, slowing 23 to 22 in Cromwell, and more slow traffic between 21 and 20 in Middletown. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound delays approaching 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 eastbound slowing from I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound running a little slow by 5C in East Hartford. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 to the 84 West Merge in East Hartford. Look out for a disabled vehicle or an accident southbound on 5 and 15, just prior to the Berlin Turnpike. Could have a disabled vehicle blocking a lane there. If you're traveling in the Middletown 9 northbound, you've got delays approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing by 18. 84 westbound slowing approaching 26 in Cheshire to 25 in Waterbury. If you're heading toward New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 61 down to the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound, you're slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A clear, windy, and colder tonight with the low down to 30 degrees. That north-northwest wind continuing to rip along at 12 to 25 miles an hour. And those winds will subside some for us on Wednesday, though. We'll have plenty of sunshine, the high of 50. Still a north breeze at 6 to 12 miles an hour. The low humidity and dry brush are going to result in an elevated fire threat. Thursday, periods of sun, a chilly day, the high of 48. Breezy with a mix of sun and clouds on Friday, that high of 58. Will feel much cooler with the northwest winds cranking back up to 10 to 20 miles an hour. Windy Saturday, clouds and sun, the high of 60. A high fire threat throughout the weekend. The high of 60 Saturday, the northwest winds 15 to 25 miles an hour. Partly sunny, breezy, and mild on Sunday, but going to feel cool, 62. North-northwest winds still 10 to 20 miles an hour. Currently, it is 46 in Bristol, 43 in Mansfield, 46 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Alice Shattuck, and I've lost 70 pounds since having my 5th baby a year ago. It's all thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss, and you can do it too. Just book your first appointment today by calling 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Experience the power of the Hartford Symphony Orchestra with Brahms First under the brilliant leadership of music director Carolyn Kwan. November 15th through the 17th at the Bushnell. World-renowned cellist Inbal Segev will captivate you with Elgar's poignant concerto for cello in E minor. Then feel the triumph as the orchestra brings Brahms Symphony No. 1 to life, a symphonic tour de force that pays homage to Beethoven while declaring Brahms' unique voice. Tickets start as low as $10 for students. Call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
This is a commercial for California, America's most trusted psychic network. So, If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
What do you call the NordVPN Black Friday deal, huh? The Block Friday deal. Because you block online threats. Black Friday, Block Friday. Get it? It's hilarious. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal and block online threats now. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic. Its Threat Protection Pro tool will defend you against web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the special Black Friday deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Hold still. This is only going to hurt a little. It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Little Beastie Boys for you there with Q-Tip, Ill Communication. Let's get right to the phones. You guys have held on for long enough. Let's go to Jerry, who's in Berlin. How we doing, Jerry?
Hi, how are you?
What's going on, sir?
Yes, I was calling about Veterans Day, and I had two experiences on Veterans Day. One really good and one really bad.
Okay, let's go with the good one first. I'm sure the bad one's going to be
the good one first. I attended the ceremony at the Iwo Jima Memorial.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And my dad was a Iwo Jima survivor, so it was kind of important to me.
Sure.
But they had kids from the Wallace School. Each kid did a write-up as to what Veterans Day meant to them. And this was, I thought, fantastic. I thought they had their school band there, they had the chorus there, and they're teaching the kids about history. And I thought that was fantastic.
That's great.
So later in the day, I find that the West Hartford public schools do not recognize Veterans Day.
Wow.
They don't observe Veterans Day. They have the kids go to school. I couldn't believe it.
That is crazy.
I'm wondering if any of your listeners might know why they don't observe Veterans Day.
I can only, it's funny because I will ask that. And for those of you who are listening, and if you're in the chat room and you do understand or know something about that, that's a very good point because I'm noticing that with a lot of schools in certain areas. Here's an interesting one. And I'll tell you this, Jerry. We asked it of our neighbors, my wife and I. We were going out early in the morning. We were going down to the office, and we saw our neighbor kids across the street standing there waiting for their school bus. And we were like, why are you guys out there? They're like, you're not off for Veterans Day. And they were like, no. And they were like, do you at least have half a day? They were like, no. Another woman who also served in the Navy drove behind us. We were actually blocking her. She drove up next to us at the next intersection, and she said the same thing. Can you believe, because she just dropped off her daughter at the bus stop. It says, can you believe that? There's no off for Veterans Day. That makes no sense to me. And I was like, and I think here might be the reason. It's in my view, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But Jerry, do you think that in certain school districts that have a certain demographic do not celebrate Veterans Day for the same reason they don't celebrate Columbus Day and celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day? Do you think that might be a part of it?
Well, I think veterans are a little bit different.
Not if it's no. See, again, we're talking about an anti-American school system. We've seen a lot of that as of late. Now, you might be too old to have grade school or, school-age children, but we're seeing that sentiment grow inside our inner city schools, and West Hartford is no different.
Yeah, I know that when I looked it up, it said that it's something that's up to that district.
Yeah.
As to whether they want it off or not.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's not a lack of patriotism on the parts of people who might be patriotic or might celebrate the day or, of course, want to remember those who have given their lives or given the ultimate sacrifice. However, I know that a lot of these progressive schools and progressive school districts push back on anything that is remotely American, as it were. And I think that's part of the reason.
Well, if I was a parent, I might want to call the school and find out, well, why aren't we celebrating the veterans?
I couldn't agree with Jerry. I couldn't agree with you more. And look, we're looking at a society that is sort of shunning traditionalism in a lot of ways. You know, and I'm sure you've seen this, the way we've pushed religion out of schools for this, you know, nonsense about separation of church and state that doesn't exist. You know, sort of trying to tamp down or stamp down anything overtly American to not offend people from other cultures. The crazy part about it is that you would never see that in China, where Americans would go to a Chinese school and say, hey, can you tone it down with the China thing? Like, you wouldn't, you know what I mean? It would be laughed at. You know what I mean? So
I thought it was so great that Wallace School in Newington, they really went overboard with emphasizing that the kids get involved with the ceremony, and I thought it was so great.
I just got a text message from our front office, and this is the quote. She says, some school districts in Connecticut that go to school spend part or all of the day learning and doing things around Veterans Day, but not all. So, again, in asking, so again, I'm talking about
school. They may just say that so that people wouldn't criticize them too.
That's quite possible. That's quite possible. But yeah, I do believe it's something that should be asked, because what other days, you know, I mean, I know Memorial Day is that's universally celebrated in the country. So I don't see a lot of that not happening here, but it's a great question. And I think you're right. It is a horrible story, and it's a horrible state in our union where they don't celebrate a day like that, because it would be like not recognizing September 11th. You know what I mean?
Right. And it seems like this is something that a lot of people don't know about because they don't put it out there. I'm sure the media is not covering anything like that, or saying, well, this school isn't recognizing it and this school is. And
yeah, it's a good point.
But
nonetheless, two great
Wallace School, and they did such a good job with the kids that it struck me that here you have one school district doing the right thing and the other one falling on its face.
But you know what? Nonetheless, you know what? There's a silver lining in all of this, because you did get a great school. You did get school spirit with regards to Veterans Day, and it's unfortunate that the other one does, but you do bring attention to it. You never know. That could be helpful. You know, somebody might hear that story and say, hey, you know, West Hartford, let's get it together.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Thank you, Jerry. Much appreciated, man. And thanks for calling.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Aaron. Aaron's in Goshen. How you doing, Aaron?
How you doing today, Reese? I want to touch on three things. Number one, I like this holding Chris Murphy's feet to the fire.
Thank you.
Let's not take our eyes off of him. He's going to, like I said, got to watch out for him in 2028. He's going to keep.
No, you're right.
And if we can find any dirt on him, we need to bring it to the surface.
You said this yesterday, and ever since you said it, do you know that I am literally being inundated with more and more information that just solidifies what you said yesterday?
Well, I mean, you can see it. I mean, I'm sorry, but you can see what he's doing. He is a swamp creature, and he will do whatever he can get to get on top of that log in the swamp. Okay, and that's what the next 4 years is going to be. Chris Murphy trying to be bipartisan, showing that he can reach across the aisle and work with both sides. Okay, that's what we're going to see out of him.
I agree. What was the other?
We all know that that's a bunch of BS. The other thing is, with teachers, we shouldn't be too alarmed with this teacher in Cheshire.
Oh, okay.
Because, you got to remember too, teachers, 90% of them never left the plantation or the institution.
Right.
They went from high school to college to teaching in the institution. They've never had to be in the real world.
Correct.
So if they've been indoctrinated since they were in high school, since they went through college indoctrination, they're going to preach and teach everything that they learned and regurgitate.
Yeah. It's like 22 years in the cult.
What we're seeing.
It's like 22 years in the cult.
You got it. Then they're not going to be brainwashed until they actually have to produce in the real world and see what it actually is when you actually have to produce at your job. And it's a sad state that we live in, but that's true. And you can look at any institution and see, like, they are teaching Marx, they are teaching all these communist manifestos and ideologies to our kids, and they just grow up and they're just adult kids that are teaching it to kids.
Indeed.
Period. I mean, I mean, that's just what it is. So maybe we need to look at our education system a little bit better. There's another thing I was looking forward to with Trump is the money follows the kid. So if you want to put your kid in a magnet school, you want to put your kid in a Patriot school, you want to put your kid wherever, the money follows them. School choice is a big thing, a big
civil rights issue of our time.
And talked about. Exactly. And the other thing I will say too, and this goes to Trump and everybody talking about, what could happen. Your most dangerous opponent is one who has nothing left to lose.
Damn right.
Or feels as though they have nothing left to lose. So we all need to be vigilant and staying and looking as to what is going to happen. And all these activists and all these anti-America people just didn't disappear. Maybe their paycheck is going to, evaporate a little bit if George Soros passes on or whatever, but still they're out there. And at this point, they are a rabid animal that has nothing left to lose. Maybe they're waiting for their proper time or something's going to happen. And JFK, Bobby Kennedy, even Ronald Reagan, who was able to live through his, they all thought nothing was going to happen, didn't they? Didn't all the American people think nothing was going to happen?
Yeah, you get complacent, sure enough. Yeah.
And who were they protected by? And who were they protected by in the process? So if this is a real anti-American, anti-government front that is happening, those are the people that are protecting President Trump. Those are the people that are protecting Joe Biden. Those are the people surrounding him. I mean, I look at what happened in Pennsylvania. How did that go down? And it's so shady because we don't get to hear any information about what actually happened there. And how'd that guy get off 3 shots when you have multiple people saying there's somebody on the roof with a gun? Why wasn't that neutralized at that moment?
I will tell you this, Aaron. I think we're on a precipice of a new beginning. I get what you're saying because I know that there are some people who do not want the curtain being pulled back on government. I think that's their biggest fear. 69 days until he is inaugurated is still too far away from me. So I get where you're coming from, and I understand. I understand everybody's apprehension about the safety of Donald Trump, the safety of our union at this point, because again, the cogs, if you will, of big government and the swamp in and of itself will protect itself in ways that will create anarchy in the world, because creating anarchy means you're paying attention to the anarchy and not by the people who are pulling the strings, if not creating the anarchy. So I appreciate the call, sir. But like I said, we're all got our head on the swivel. In no way do I take these people for granted. Anyway, okay. I guess I lost him. Anyway, so yeah, I get what everybody's saying. I get it. I know it's not over till it's over, as Yogi Bear once said. You got to be careful. I'm not complacent. I'm not sitting idly by going, no, everything's fine. No, we got over there. Everything's a hurdle. Every day is a hurdle. Every day. Richard A., thank you. He says that I think all schools should be in session on Veterans Day and to be dedicated to learn about veterans and the sacrifices they made for the freedoms that we have today. If indeed they are, Richard, and you know what? No argument there. As long as it is dedicated to, just like when you go to school and they're teaching you about social studies, dedicates that entire month of February to Black History Month. When I was growing up, that was a key component of learning in the month of February. So yeah, I agree with you. And I think right now, and I'll even go so far as to say days off from school are just days off. I don't think anybody really celebrates those days. I used to poke fun. And Martin Luther King's birthday, when people used to say, hey, what you going to do on Martin Luther King's birthday? And I was just like, the same thing everybody else does, take a day off. I don't think anybody does anything to celebrate it. You might be right, Richard. Maybe we do need to be in school, making sure the kids learn about Veterans Day in the classroom. Dedicate the entire school day to it. Let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
You got it, Reese. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, this traffic report being brought to you by Tab Computer Systems, a 100% employee-owned company. And if you're on the southbound side of 91, as you move East Windsor into Windsor Locks on the Dexter Coffin Bridge between 44 and 42, right lane is out there with the ongoing project. After that, delays in Hartford approaching 33 to 32, a bump down by exit 28, another bump down by exit 23 in Rocky Hill, and some sluggish traffic as you move 22 to 21 in Cromwell. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor, westbound 84 tied up approaching 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 eastbound, a little tight. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound slowing, coming off of I-84 out to exit 5. C2 westbound a little tight by 5D, and again from exit 4 in East Hartford up to the 84 West merge. Both sides of 9 a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound slowing from 30 up to exit 34 up into New Britain. Westbound side of 84 slowing approaching 26 to 25 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound a little slow, 18 up to the mix.
Thank you, Richard. Boston Sox forever.
Got delays 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. At Tab Computer Systems, our employee owners are dedicated to your business success. We offer affordable enterprise-grade solutions in cybersecurity, VoIP, compliance, IT consulting, implementation, and support. Technologies advancing business. Tab Computer Systems. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The rest of today, it'll be windy and cooler. We'll have plenty of sunshine, but at high of 54, going to feel a lot cooler with that north-northwest wind at 15 to 25 miles an hour throughout the day. Clear, windy, and colder tonight. The low down to 31. For Wednesday, plenty of sunshine. Again, the high of 51. Going to feel a little cooler with that north breeze throughout the day. Periods of sun on Thursday. A chilly feeling day with the high of 48. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
46 degrees, 5 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Still windy and dry out there. Red flag warning in effect through 6. Sentencing in Boston federal court for a man who leaked Pentagon secrets.
Massachusetts Air National Guard member Jack Teixeira has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. The 22-year-old pleaded guilty to posting online highly classified military documents about the war in Ukraine. Federal prosecutors called it one of the, quote, most prolific and rare government leak operations. They wanted Teixeira to get a 17-year prison term.
CBS's Jim Krasula reporting. A Cheshire teacher removed from the classroom temporarily after a social media video went viral with the teacher raging about the election of Trump. Police are investigating. This was one school parent's reaction.
As a parent, it's very disturbing, and we try to role model to our kids that they shouldn't post things, and this is why we don't post it. And they teach us at the school level to the students, and now we have a teacher doing it. So what example are you setting?
The post suggested possible violence in response to post-election arguments. The audio from WFSB. Complicating matters, the superintendent says Cheshire schools have been getting lots of calls and emails about that video from people around the country. After losing a state Senate race, Republican Chris Reddy files a complaint with the State Elections Enforcement Commission. Reddy lost to Democratic incumbent May Flexer by about 600 votes. He claims there are red flags based on votes cast in Mansfield, home to UConn. He's questioning same-day registrations. Town registrars from both parties say all voter registration forms were accepted by the deadline, and they're confident the election results are accurate. The chairpeople of the town party committees issued a joint statement saying they're confident the votes cast in Mansfield were lawfully cast. The State Commission issued a no comment today. A peaceful transfer of power planned this time. President Biden and President-elect Trump meet tomorrow at the White House.
He believes in the norms. He believes in our institution. He believes in a peaceful transfer of power.
And that's why, says White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, the president will sit down with President-elect Trump in the Oval Office.
It is important, not just because it's important to him, but it's important to the American people. He said the American people deserve this. They deserve a peaceful transfer of power.
Adding, it is the norm, even though the then outgoing President Trump did not invite the then President-elect Biden to the White House. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The stock market took a step back today.
Profit-taking ruled the day as investors hemmed in some stocks that took off during the rally, namely Tesla, which pulled back after a more than 30% gain over 4 sessions. Home Depot shares finished lower as U.S. homeowners continue putting off major home remodeling projects. The Dow lost 382 points to 43,911. The Nasdaq fell 17 points to 19,281, and the S&P was down 17 points to 5984. Jason Brooks, CBS News.
Sports tonight, the Celtics host Atlanta, the Bruins in St. Louis. The number 3 UConn men play Lemoyne tomorrow in Hartford. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
There's a price war in business, and you may be paying too much.
Thank you,
Call
sir.
the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%.
Hey, how'd you do last night on the game?
Plans and up. That's our specialty. Even
Like shit.
smokers rate. Protect your family.
Because again, it was
866
5 total turnovers, 8 total field goals.
9 term.
Nobody scored no touchdowns.
It was a mess.
Terrible game.
Well, I told you that game was going to be garbage, right? I said the only thing that made that game interesting was the betting.
Yeah, but I thought there was going to be some TD scoring going on with Cooper Kupp, with Nakua, and all them guys on LA.
Safety supplies.
Nope, they didn't score 1 touchdown. They kicked 6 field goals and missed 1.
Ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com. And get ready for the workday.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. If you are just joining us, I've been talking about this since the beginning of the show. So I warned you the 5 o'clock focus was going to be on Chris Murphy and Governor Lamont. And I want to hear from you at 860-522-WTIC. This is another thing that Chris Murphy said in his X post, I believe this morning, if not last night, whatever it was, who cares? But this is what he said, and I saved this one for the 5 o'clock focus. Listen closely to what Chris Murphy is talking about. Again, I'm going to have on New Haven Mayor Justin Elicker on tomorrow, and our conversation is about immigration. Listen to Chris Murphy. And of course, I went to the wrong place. Here we go. I should totally be prepared for this before I move. There it is.
Mass deportation and closing our borders permanently, that's bad policy. But it speaks to a legitimate feeling that people have, that there are these global forces like increased migration that are outside of our control, that we are at their mercy. People are looking for control, and one of the ways that Republicans deliver them a message of control is control of our borders. Democrats need to understand that Republicans start by examining the way that people are actually feeling and then matching policies to the way that they're feeling. Democrats need to start doing the same thing.
So as I said to you days ago, and I know you all heard me, I said, what are the Democrats going to do next? Are they going to become Republicans? And the answer, according to Chris Murphy and Governor Lamont, is yes. They're going to start. I mean, I almost feel like these guys are deciding to become center-right people. But I know that this is about power. But Chris Murphy said mass deportation is not the right policy. First of all, Chris, as we used to say in the hood back in the 80s, stop bugging. Mass deportation is a good policy. Oh, and closing the border, an even better one. Listen, he says this, not me.
Mass deportation and closing our borders permanently, that's bad policy.
How? Closing our border permanently? We're talking about closing the southern border. That's it. Southern border. Want to seek asylum? Port of entry. But the southern border, close it. That's not bad policy. That's good policy. It's great policy. But he knows that the American people have had enough. Why? Because you went ham. Your whole party went ham. and it's over now. Do you believe him? Do you trust him? Can you trust him? 860-522-WTIC. Let's go get back to our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays approaching 33 down to 32 A and B. Another bump down by exit 28. And you're slow a little bit again in Cromwell from exit 22 down to 21. And more delays. Sluggish stop and go from 20 down to exit 17 in Meriden. So 91 southbound pretty heavy this afternoon. Northbound 91, that looks good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tight up approaching 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you've got slow traffic. About a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow getting over the Bissell Bridge going into South Windsor on 291 East. 2 eastbound slowing coming off of I-84 out to 5C. 2 westbound, some delays between 8 and 5D in Glastonbury. And again, exit 4 to the 84 West Merge in East Hartford. Southbound Route 9 a little slow as you approach the Aragoni Bridge. Northbound 9 slowing from 30 in Cromwell right up to exit 34 in New Britain. Southbound on Route 9, you've got delays from the 72 interchange down to exit 33 in Berlin. If you're traveling 84 westbound into Cheshire, delays approaching 26 to 25.
Welcome, Michael A. Missed you. And Michael B., you and I may have the same taste in women.
Southbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic now from 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound New Haven slows from 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
As we head through tonight, it'll be clear, windy, and colder. The low down to 30 degrees. Plenty of sunshine for us on our Wednesday. The high of 50. Still a bit of a breeze out of the north to make it feel cooler. Periods of sun on Thursday. A chilly day with the high of 48. Breezy, milder with a mix of clouds and sun on Friday. The high up to 58. But the wind's cranking back up for the weekend, which means another high fire threat weekend with low humidity and plenty of dry brush and those gusty winds. Friday, the north-northwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Windy Saturday, clouds and sun, the high of 60, but the northwest winds 15 to 25 miles an hour, making it feel much cooler. Partly sunny Sunday, breezy, the high of 62. Again, the north-northwest winds still 10 to 20 miles an hour. Currently, it is 46 in Meriden, 44 in Bristol, 45 in Granby, and 45 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Join us for a night to remember at the United Way of Central and Northeastern Connecticut's Centennial Gala. Let's unite and forge a new path to end poverty. Mark your calendars for December 14th at the Connecticut Convention Center and get your tickets at unitedwayinc.org.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that
a group
fire
chat for the show, Zach.
Guys lose their edge
on
when
which
they turn 40.
platform?
Your body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work.
That ad, every time I hear Nugenix, I keep thinking he's saying eugenics. It's like, what is this what do you mean? Did he say eugenics?
Complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text STREAK to 42424. That's STREAK to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. Let's get it going. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. The 5 o'clock focus question is, of course, do you believe Chris Murphy, Governor Lamont, and a host of other Democrats who have now decided that they're going to moderate, that they're going to actually govern based upon the will of the people? Can you trust them? Let's go to Jim in Willington. How you doing, Jim? Who is not there? That's okay. No problem. Happens all the time. Let's go to, Bob's in Brooklyn. What part of Brooklyn, Bob?
Yeah, Brooklyn, the Corrupticus.
Brooklyn, Connecticut, bro.
Oh, Brooklyn, Connecticut? Well, no, you have to say that. You can't just say Brooklyn.
No, it's Brooklyn. Reese, it's Brooklyn Corrupticus. It's not Connecticut. They changed the name officially, all right? Only a fool would believe Murphy. Only a fool would believe Lamont.
Right.
Right, but I called on the necessity to the children must be kept home on Veterans Day and every other day. Why do you think homeschooling is on the rise so greatly?
Yeah.
It's because, I mean, you got to think, you're reporting on a teacher in Cheshire.
Yeah.
Who is off the rails. They're all the same. All the teachers are rotten. And they teach LHBT queer, LHBT queer. The H is for homosexual. Don't say gay, because when you say gay, right, I am gay. I'm Mary Brighton Sherry. When you call a homosexual a gay, you're playing into his hand. Do you agree? Now keep your kids at home. Homeschool your kids because they're destroying the. How long ago did Dr. Christina Hoff Summers write The War Against Boys?
Yeah. Wow, that's such
how long ago?
That is such a great book, by the way, and she's 100% right about it. Everything she writes about the war against boys has come to pass, and no one wanted to listen to her.
I had a chance to talk to her. She was on C-SPAN.
Yeah.
My boss called me one day and told me she was going to be on Book TV. It's a 3-hour interview with Summers, and I called up Summers.
Mm-hmm.
And she was not aware of what you need to know about this article in New York Magazine. Write it down, January 30, 06 edition. 06. That was damn near 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And that cover story was called a Cuddle Puddle. Get your computer out, type in Cuddle Puddle, and realize how long ago they were taking these, the LHBT queer teachers were taking the kids into the Cuddle Puddle, which is a closet where they sent the kids not with the opposite sex, but they sent.
Oh, you know what? I do remember that. I do remember that,
Bob. Explore each other anatomically. Each word is important. That's why you have to listen to each word. Get your kids out of the GPS. The GPS is the government public school.
That's right.
You're laughing, but
no. Listen, I'm laughing in jest. Listen, I'm not poking fun at you. You're 100% right. But you. In fact, I love Donald Trump. If you watched his video about putting an end to the bureaucracy of the public school system or the Board of Education, is exactly talking about all of those things and that have happened to our school systems, and he wants to give it back to the states. But I got to move on, Bob. Thank you so much for the call, sir. Let me get back. Jim is in Wellington. He's back. How you doing, Jim? Jim? I think he's having a muting problem. He might be on mute. Okay. He'll figure it out. That's no big deal. Rick is in Cheshire. How you doing, Rick?
Hey, Reese. Like you, I believe we're on the precipice of some good governing here in Washington. My question to you is, I like I said, I think Trump's going to do well. I think he knows some of the pitfalls, and he can navigate the bureaucracy and the rhinos there. But how much focus do you think, if any, he should focus on exposing the Crossfire Hurricane / Bleach Bit / Dossier / Perkins Coie, all of that have literally, I believe, led to obviously the raid in Mar-a-Lago because he declassified and took us. But what is within those documents are so amazingly hurtful to the Democrat Party as a whole. Do you think the American people can handle that?
If Kash Patel, and I just watched the video of him earlier today.
He's amazing.
Yeah, isn't he? If Kash Patel were to get the gig that everyone's suggesting that he should get, and that is director of the CIA, if that's possible,
yeah,
I think what he would find out, if not exposed, because he believes in a 24-hour declassification committee inside the White House, right? I mean, inside the government. In essence, like some of the things that he talks about in that video is about there are so many things from the JFK assassination to the 9/11 to 9/11. There are so many things in which they are declassified. And he talks about how this governance in that video, he talks about Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. And both of these, they're talking about the insurance policy with Donald Trump and how the DOJ ended up giving them like $1.5 million for doing something that was not only illegal, but pretty much criminal. They were talking about thwarting a president of the United States through an insurance policy on government-issued phones. And the DOJ ended up giving them a payout. So what he wants,
they settled with him.
Yeah. So what he believes is, and again, I'm praying that he becomes the director, is exactly what you're talking about, is exposing all of those things. Because remember, if you go in there and you clean house, and you go in there and say, listen, our job, what our mission statement is, we are going to give our government back to the people. There are no longer any clandestine operations against the will of the people. We are going to go there and serve them. I think we have a strong likelihood that two things can happen. One, the American people can understand what our government has done that was so corrupt to it. And on the other hand, finally restore faith in it because of Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I just my only hesitation with that is if it just comes across as too much, only because Donald Trump is so unique.
Yeah.
And the reason that people galvanized behind it is because they went so far overboard on trying to trump up so many, pardon the pun, so much against him.
Yeah.
That not the entire country, but everybody that was willing to look saw that. And I want this movement to transcend Trump and move on past him.
You and me both.
I just don't, and I don't know if
Rick, you have no idea. This is, and it's so you nailed it on the head. I don't want this to be a moment in time as far as Trumpism or even the MAGA movement. It cannot be 4 years of our life.
You'll never get it back.
Yeah, exactly. We'll never get it back because the power. This is something. This is something that has got to motivate others. Like, I think about Ted Cruz, right? If you really think about this, right? Ted Cruz is a constitutional Republican because he was a Reagan Republican, right? He came from that era. Reagan was president of the United States 40 years ago, and we produced plenty of people in politics who came from that era, right? We had a Tea Party a movement under the Obama administration that forged. And what did we do? We got Tea Party candidates out of that. We got Rubio out of the Tea Party movement. So there are movements that can transcend when it happened. They're not just moments in time. They actually become things that bring us to a future or more prosperous future within government. So I believe that the MAGA movement, in the place that it is now, it is such a pop culture phenomenon. And I think that's important. A pop culture phenomenon that can transcend the existence of Donald Trump. That MAGA can be, in essence, he could be the titular head of that. He could sort of be the folk hero of it, but its movement can have legs and tentacles that reach 30 years into our future.
I really think that the Crossfire Hurricane, honestly, if there's any retribution, quote unquote, it's that.
Yeah, 100%.
Show that to the American people in its entirety, and show how it. I mean, it's got everybody. Well, it's got so much from. It's got Obama, Biden, Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, all of it. The 51 people, and that leads all the way to the other side to the Hunter Biden.
Let me ask you this.
You can talk about the China money.
Rick, let me ask you this before you go. Right? If you had to ask yourself, the Obama coalition into the future versus the MAGA coalition into the future, which one do you believe has much longer legs or more standing in the future?
I believe the MAGA movement, the momentum of the MAGA movement. I believe it's a generation.
Yep.
Changing.
I believe so too.
The Republican Party, as we once knew it, very short time ago, is no longer.
Exactly.
This term, these 4 years are so
Barack
different.
Obama, and I think we realized it this time around. Barack Obama was like the latest pair of Jordans. He was a fad, and we've moved on. That's all it is, and it's over. The MAGA movement is far more reaching than that, and has much more. I mean, it has the legs. It has the legs to last a generation. I think.
It's a much broader coalition, and you see people coming into it.
And that's the key.
That's what's the huge part.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate you, sir.
Yep.
Let's go to Paul in Easton. Well, how you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great tonight. How about yourself, Reese?
I'm all right. What do you got for me?
Also, I wanted to tap back to Cash Patel and all declassification. I'm really hoping for some actual, I don't know where you kind of fall on the spectrum of, believer versus truther of UFO conspiracy and what's going on there.
Yeah.
But I would love to see some actual, military grade documentation on what's going on with these flights and what Navy pilots and all, our airmen are saying, because there's stuff going on there and things about our history don't line up with, what we are told. I think that there's got to be some group of people out there at some point with advanced technology that we, or our government hasn't been letting us in on. And, you can go back all the way to after World War II with Operation High Jump and,
let me ask you this, Paul.
Flying down to the Antarctic.
Paul, let me ask you this. Because a lot of my friends who are on the opposite side of the aisle talk about these sort of government classified conspiracies, whatever they may be. And you know what their biggest argument is? They say, because they're big government people, and they always say this.
Yeah.
They say that maybe the government keeps it from the people because if we were to find out, our heads would explode. Not only figuratively. They say the American public couldn't understand or quite fathom if aliens were real and we had actually encountered them. How do you feel about that? Because you're a younger person. Do you think that the American people, or if not the world, can handle that kind of info?
I think that there's a lot more going on, and I think that a lot of people have an intuition that there's a lot more going on in whether it be a spiritual realm or angels and demons or whatever it may be. But there is documented evidence of, United States military going down and encountering different crafts in Antarctica and places like Neuschwanstein, Neuschwabenland, and all of these military people coming back and saying, we were repelled by whether it be beings or, a breakaway civilization with technology far superior to ours. So
I wonder why they go to all of
it, quote unquote, would be the most. I don't think that would be the most, far-fetched. You don't have to go outer space to explain some of these phenomena. I think that there are probably lies about our history that we've been told.
Yeah.
And
of course, without that's without a doubt.
That part of.
Let me ask you this: don't you ever wonder, Paul? Don't you ever wonder why they only experience these phenomenon in places like Antarctica, but you never see them in like Duluth?
Well, I mean, it happens in Australia. There's a lot of sightings. It happens in America. There are sightings in Northern Africa.
Back in the days, we used to
Europe and.
Back in the days, we used to see that stuff in like Kansas and in Iowa.
Bible. You look at Ezekiel.
Yeah.
You look at the book of Bible of Ezekiel. Is that the world's first UFO encounter? I mean, you read through this stuff, and it starts to really connect some dots. Whether it's angels and demons, whether it's a breakaway civilization. I'm hopefully looking forward to some progress.
Me too.
Along
I
would
love to be.
I hope that Cash Patel. And I hope the CIA gets blown up. Figuratively speaking, of course.
I get you. I gotta go.
Just like JFK wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta go, buddy. But thank you so much. I love hearing from the younger gentleman or the younger generation in all of this. So again, if you're just catching us, so the 5 o'clock focus thing is talking about Chris Murphy and the Democrat Party is doing some soul searching. A week out of the election, and now deciding that it's going to become more center, if not center right. And abandoning their ideals and deciding, maybe Trump is right in all of this and sort of becoming very Trumpier. Do you believe him? Do you think it's a hoax? Can you trust him? If you're a Democrat out there, can you believe them? Are you deciding to completely abandon the things that you've been fighting for the past 20, 30 years and joining us over on the right side of history? You like to use that term, not me. Let's get another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher at BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. If you're heading 91 southbound, you look for delays in Hartford 33 down to 32 A and B. A little tight again down by exit 28. More sluggish traffic 20 in Middletown down to 17 in Meriden. And we have an accident now in New Haven, 91 southbound between exit 4 and 3. The left and center lanes block, stay right. Delays are almost back to exit 9 Montewiese Avenue behind that. Now, if you're on the northbound side of 91, that moves well from Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound side of 84 slowing, approaching 56 Governor Street out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound slows about a half mile before 46 Isson Avenue into the tunnel. 2 eastbound slowing coming off of I-84 out to 5C in East Hartford. 2 westbounds a little slow, 8 to 5D in Glastonbury. If you're traveling 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. Slight slowdown 9 southbound as you approach the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound slows from 30 up to 31 in Berlin, again from 32 up to 34 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84, some sluggish traffic from the 691 interchange up to 25 in Waterbury, and again tight 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing 18 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Danbury slowing 3 to 5. 91 southbound, we have the accident between 4 and 3. Southbound Parkway delays from 62 down to the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 southbound New Haven tight 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's time to order your Plainville Farms fresh, all-natural turkey from Highland Park Market. These turkeys are humanely raised, vegetarian-fed, and never given any antibiotics or growth hormones. Nobody does Thanksgiving better than family-owned and operated Highland Park Market, Manchester, Glastonbury, Farmington, and at highlandparkmarket.com.
WTIC weather.
The rest of today, it'll be windy and cooler. We'll have plenty of sunshine, but at a high of 54, going to feel a lot cooler with that north-northwest wind at 15 to 25 miles an hour throughout the day. Clear, windy, and colder tonight. The low down to 31. For Wednesday, plenty of sunshine. Again, the high of 51. Going to feel a little cooler with that north breeze throughout the day. Periods of sun on Thursday. A chilly feeling day with the high of 48. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
45 degrees at 5:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Red flag warning in effect through 6. Amtrak service suspended between New York and New Haven. That's due to 2 fires near the tracks in the Bronx. It's unclear when service will resume. Commuters are being told to use Metro North to get to New Haven. U.S. flights suspended to Haiti after a Spirit Airlines flight from Fort Lauderdale and another flight were shot at.
The FAA has banned all civilian flights to Haiti for at least 30 days, suspending U.S. civil aviation operations in Haiti airspace below 10,000 feet. The move comes after 2 U.S. passenger planes were hit by gunfire amid escalating gang violence in the Caribbean nation. No one was hurt on the Spirit Airlines and JetBlue planes.
CBS's Jim Krasula. President Biden met with the president of Israel at the White House.
Israeli President Isaac Herzog is filled with gratitude.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you, he said, for standing by Israel.
You've been an incredible friend of Israel and the Jewish people for decades.
Praising the president for standing up with Israel after the October 7th attack, and for standing by Israel, he said, as you've always been. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Formerly striking workers at Boeing are back on the job, but it will be weeks before production fully restarts.
In a statement, Boeing says it is safely and methodically restarting airplane production that was stalled by the strike. The steps include ensuring worker training and certification is up to date. CEO of Commercial Airplanes Stephanie Pope says Boeing is facing a backlog of 5,400 airplanes. That's not only due to the strike. Boeing was already struggling with delays when the FAA ordered the company to slow production and focus on safety after a door panel blew out of a 737 in January. Heather Bosch for CBS News, Seattle.
Wall Street, the Dow dropped 382 points. S&P was minus 17. The NASDAQ dropped 17 as well. Sports, the Celtics host Atlanta, the Bruins in St. Louis. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Thanksgiving is fast approaching, and that means spending lots of time in the kitchen with family and friends. But if your kitchen could use a little pick-me-up before company comes, don't panic. Modern Plumbing has a huge selection of trusted brands in stock to give your kitchen a fresh look for your holiday gathering. Faucets, sinks, cabinet hardware, and more. Visit the Modern Plumbing Showroom on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply.
We all hear the radio ads about the
1 minute.
They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you
Ready,
into calling.
go.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA
Look
is
at you
here to
yelling
tell
at
you
me
that
for
if
saying
you owe
Brook-
money to the
Brooklyn.
IRS,
You
whether
can't
it's
say
5,000,
Brooklyn without saying
50,000, or
Connecticut.
500,000.
Ah,
It doesn't matter if
Brooklyn
you're sitting
is
in your car
Brooklyn.
at
Brooklyn, Connecticut, man. You in Connecticut.
That don't matter.
800-570.
Look, we don't have any Brooklyn, New York callers calling in.
TRA can eliminate or reduce what
They calling in a hot 97 and all that.
are now available that can give you a. Our passion is taxes and helping
I was like, I saw
individuals
Brooklyn. I was
fix
like,
their
wow, look at
IRS
Brooklyn in the
problems.
house.
We have over 1,500
Like,
reviews
okay.
on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
Sorry to hurt your feelings.
The
Hey,
IRS
look, I don't like
any
Brooklyn
longer.
anyway.
End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6480.
Here we go.
800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. Let's get back to the phones real quick before we wrap this up. I'll take Kim in Northern Connecticut. Kim, I know you and I actually talk for a little good time, but I want to give you at least 2 minutes. So, the 5 o'clock focus question was whether or not we can trust Governor Lamont and Senator Chris Murphy on their, I guess, pivot to the center. I'm sure you've got some thoughts on that.
No, you cannot trust either one of them. I've run into Chris Murphy. And how it used to be in his town meetings is you had to submit a question, and if the question wasn't something to their taste, the question was never asked.
Right.
Yeah, you had to submit it ahead of time. He's pretty much a George Soros funded operative. And as far as Lamont goes, his deception and deceit of Connecticut and the country is generational. Way back in when they brought in the Federal Reserve and they brought in the trusts and they brought in the federal income tax, there was Thomas Lamont doing things to the country that people didn't understand, and the apple doesn't go too far from the tree. One thing I did want to bring up is Mike Waltz. Trump's nominee. And remember, Trump has a history of picking really bad people at times and really good people at times. Really bad to me is Michael Waltz.
Yeah. What's your issue with him? I knew you'd probably bring him up.
Okay, and I'm surprised. I'm watching Steve Bannon. I'm watching Eric Prince, and they're not getting it. They're thinking, "Oh, he's got a military background. He's a diplomatic warrior.
Right.
He's says everything MAGA. Well, did they not look far enough back? Because I did, and I'm the only one who's talking about it. He used to work for George Soros at the New American Foundation, not the New America Foundation. There is a right-wing New American, but this is the New America Foundation. George Soros ran it. His son now, Alex, runs it. And anybody who's worked with George Soros is a good talker and is infiltrating.
And you think that once aligned with them, there's no going back.
Right. There is 2 other people that I have realized that did, Vivek and the president of Hungary. They both worked for George Soros' operation.
I do, yeah. Well, Vivek has actually addressed that. He made that very clear.
That's the point. They refuted it afterwards. They didn't go along with the agenda. They talked about it.
Yeah.
Mike Waltz never talks about it, and a lot of people don't know about it.
That's
But
interesting.
you need to know. If you don't bring that up, there's a lot to hide. as
We'll
far as
see.
I'm
I'm
concerned.
pretty sure he'll be vetted on that, Kim. I'm sure. Well, at least we hope
Can I
he
say
will.
One last thing.
No, I
One last
literally,
thing.
you know, I got to go to the heart. I got to go directly to the break. But that's why I wanted to get you in there. All right, let's get another check of the traffic before we get out of here with Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're 91 southbound coming in Hartford, delays 34 down to 32 A and B, again down by exit 28, and you're sluggish pretty much from 22 right down to exit 17 in Meriden. We do have an accident in New Haven right now, 91 southbound between 4 and 3. The left and center lanes blocked, stay to the right there. Delays are approaching exit 8 behind that. Northbound side of 91, that's a real easy ride. Cromwell up into Windsor. Once you get up into Windsor, a little slow again, 35 to 36. Westbound 84 is tied up. East Hartford, 56 Governor Street, right out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound slowing about a half a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound slowing, getting over the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound, you got some slow traffic from 5A out to 5C. And East Hartford, 2 westbound, little tight between 8 and 5D. And again, as you merge with 84 West and East Hartford. Middletown looks good now, 9 in the Aragoni Bridge, 91 northbound, or 9 northbound rather. A little slow between 30 and 31 in Berlin. Again, from 32 to 34 in New Britain. If you're westbound 84, you've got slow traffic in Cheshire from the 691 interchange pretty much right up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Eastbound 84 in Danbury, tight 3 to 5. Southbound Parkway delays 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. And 95 South New Haven slowing from 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, it's already breezy and quite chilly feeling in spots. Clear, windy, and colder tonight. The low down to 30 with the north-northwest winds kicking along 12 to 25 miles an hour. They will subside some for us as we head into the day on Tuesday. Plenty of sunshine Tuesday. The high of 50, going to feel a bit cooler, though, still with that north breeze throughout the day. Now, Thursday, a bit of a chill in the air, periods of sun, the high of 48 with that north-northeast breeze. Breezier as we head into Friday and throughout the weekend. A mix of clouds and sun Friday, the high up to 58. That means a high fire danger with the winds on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. North-northwest winds back up to 10 to 20 miles an hour Friday. Saturday, windy, a mix of clouds and sun, that high of 60. Going to feel quite a bit cooler with the northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Then partly sunny, still breezy Sunday, the high of 62. North-northwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. A couple of morning showers Monday. Lots of clouds, the high back to 60. Right now it is 46 in Meriden, 41 already in Mansfield, 45 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Do you have old videotapes and photos with memories you'd love to share with the family this Christmas? Right now, get exclusive early access to Legacy Box's biggest deal of the year. Digitize your memories for just $9 per tape. That's right, only $9 to preserve and share your precious moments. VHS, VHS-C, Hi8, film reels, and more, saving you over $15 per item. Not to mention, when you digitize your memories now, Legacy Box sends all your memories back on the cloud, so they're easy to access by Christmas, and you can relive them with your family just in time for the holidays. You've heard about Legacy Box all year, but now is the best time to digitize your memories. Hurry, this $9 deal won't last long. LegacyBox.com/value for early access to our best deal of the year. Don't wait. Secure your digitized memories by Christmas at LegacyBox.com/value.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 10.
All right, we're about to wrap this puppy up. Get up out of here. But I would be remiss if I didn't take my last phone calls. Let's go to Dave in Brantford. How we doing, Dave?
Wow, we're at the last call already?
No, not yet. Last break, though.
The last one. Okay, I want to talk about Ned Lamont. And
Yes,
because we've got even bluer because of the election we just had, Connecticut has a veto-proof majority of Democrats in the Senate and the House. And so Ned Lamont may be the best friend the even modestly conservative have left, as a bulwark against the ultra-blue urban areas.
Yeah.
And I think we darn well better find an alliance with some of the more conservative Democrats who can align with some of the Republicans to sustain a Ned Lamont veto for some of the crazier stuff that might be rent control, tenants unions, free mass transit for, everybody that lives in the city. And, I got to swallow my pride. Ned Lamont may be as conservative as it gets for a while. He might run for
that's a good point.
term. He might win, and I think, whether it's Matt Ritter or Bad Billy Tong, maybe even Murphy might try to bump off the governor if he chooses not to run for a third term. But
What do you think?
He'll
But
be
with
there
that,
for 6 more years.
Dave, but with that, let me ask you. With this new moderate tone that you're hearing out of Chris Murphy and Ned Lamont, do you think that this is all for show, or do you really think that they're sort of acclimating, to sort of the election in a real and honest way? I don't believe them. I don't believe that. I think that they're just they're knee-jerking this like they do everything else.
I think Murphy is a socialist at heart. I think Ned Lamont, in his bones, feels a little bit of Tom Sowell free market capitalism for things like tax, the way the tax structure is.
Yeah.
And so you got to grab with what you can get. And I want to say a little thing about Veterans Day. You were talking about the schools that don't honor the holiday.
Yeah.
Those people are against traditional, wholesome American values. And the joke used to be, who's in favor of motherhood, apple pie, and the Boy Scouts. And those leftist people like West Hartford, they're not in favor of motherhood, apple pie, or the Boy Scouts anymore. Everything that's wholesome and traditional has been trashed in America, and we got to move back towards it. Thanks for letting me on.
My pleasure, sir.
Bye.
Thank you. And let's go with John, who's in Wethersfield. How we doing, John?
Good, Reese. How are you?
I'm good, sir. What do you got for me?
Okay, so I'm going to try to wrap this up as easily as I can. While I was on hold, I was thinking about an analogy that I can put.
Okay.
This is what they're doing. They're going to go out. I'm going to give a little advice to anybody who has a preteen out there. When she brings home a guy, and because the way that he's dressed and the way that he talks, and you don't like him, you have to pretend that you like him. Okay? Because
for the sake of your daughter.
As soon as he messes up, you have to say, you know what? I gave that kid a chance, and this is who he is.
Right.
That's what they are doing right now. They're going to turn around and say, you know what? We gave him a chance, and he just said this. Because he's going to say something that's going to be twisted, and they're going to be like, oh, he said this. Oh, we gave him a chance, and, well, we knew he was like that.
Yeah.
They did not do that the first time. Remember, they were trying to impeach him before he was even president.
That's right.
The first time.
That's right.
All right? They were protesting him, the women with the hats on. I don't know what
The
what
pink
heck
hats,
that
yeah.
was, but yeah, I mean, they never gave him a chance. So now they're saying, and another thing is, you can't destroy anybody you didn't build. Like,
damn right.
Donald Trump made Mike Pence. Where's Mike Pence right now?
That's right.
Okay? They didn't do it. Now they're trying to say, okay, well, we give him a chance. That's the plan. Mark my words.
John, you'd stealing out of my playbook, and let me tell you why. I had talked about this in a 5 o'clock focus many months ago, maybe a little more than a month ago. I totally believe that, I had all of these opportunities where people were asking me to do more and more and more. And I was like, nope, because I don't want anybody to build me up. I want to do it organically because you know what? Self-made men last forever, man. Self-made men last forever.
Yeah.
I'll always believe that. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate it nonetheless.
All right, Reese, you're doing good. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, man. That means everything to me. Let's okay, I'll take this call as soon as it comes in. Did you hear this report? We might talk a little bit about this tomorrow. But don't forget, tomorrow, we've got Justin Elliker, mayor of New Haven, on the program tomorrow at 4 o'clock, in the 4 o'clock hour. I want to applaud myself for getting it done. Justin Elliker will be here, and we'll talk to him about immigration and, of course, the left, or as it were, many politicians here in Connecticut sort of trying to streamline their opinion and see if Justin Elliker is in that fold, or whether or not he's going to be a hardliner on the left, even after the results of the election. So we'll talk to him tomorrow at about 4 o'clock. So I hope you'll be here for that. And I'm hoping that it grows. I'm not much of a guest guy, unless it's, my guys. Daily Caller, those are my guys. I like having them on. We've got, Mondays with McGreevy. I like those guys over at the Daily Caller. It's a good outfit over there. So I don't like to do guests all the time. But if we could get some of these politicians, I don't like to do a lot of, what do you call it? I don't know, an echo chamber stuff. I was going to say something else, but it's much too vile. But I don't want to do that. I want to do something where, I've got a little bit of pushback, opposition, I don't agree with you. You don't agree with me. Hey, you piece of, I need that. I need the contentious stuff. That stuff's good to me. I have a good time with that. So if you know any politicians or any people like that who might be a little bit of an opposition to me, yeah, let me know. I'd like to have them on the air. And if you're out there listening, I know you're out there. I know some of you politicians are out there listening to the show, getting a little beat on what's going on. You're saying, what's with that guy? Come on. Call Joey. Call Roland. Roland, can we give you a personal number? No, I'm kidding.
Hell no.
Don't let me get in the crosshairs of Roland there. No, we can't give Roland's personal number. What was he thinking? Who said that? But yeah, it ought to be a good conversation tomorrow. I think we'll have a really, really good conversation tomorrow. So let me get into this before we get up out of here. So if you've heard the stories, post-election ratings cratering is going on. And this, I have to pat myself on the back again. I just do. I'm sorry. If you listen to this show every day, and many of you do, and I appreciate you, you know I said this, that what happened with the Democrat Party is the same thing we're seeing happening in the news media business. They isolate themselves. They keep ostracizing more and more people if you don't agree with them. You constantly badger them if they don't do or adhere to your belief system, or how you don't agree with this, we got to bash you. And they allowed us to go on, and more people, instead of being chastised, they go, oh, you don't like me? Sayonara, I'm out of here. I don't want to be a part of a group that doesn't like me and says I can't think for myself. I have to be canceled, pushed out of polite society. So what happens is, after you've ostracized people, they don't watch you anymore. They don't like you anymore. Hey, where's Don Lemon? Anybody remember Don Lemon going out on the streets, and he went to Atlantic City and he talked to that man, that grown-ass man on the boardwalk, and Don Lemon tried to convince him that the economy is doing great, and the guy just laughed at him? Where's Don Lemon? Well, CNN is about to fire some of its most notable names because of post-election fatigue in the network. Chris Wallace is already, after 3 years, I'm out of here. Chris Wallace gone. And Chris, peace out, homie. You became an absolute clown. And I used to like you. but you let the politics get the best of you. There was no longer objective journalism. You had to take it personal. And you were really, really sidelined by when you did the debate back in 2020. Remember that? Remember the debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump? And he was so angry at Donald Trump for being so rambunctious and talking over. And he really took that personally, and then he pretty much had it out for Donald Trump, and then he became a clown. He became a joke of himself, Mike Wallace. So now he's leaving. He's going to join the podcasting realm. Good. God bless you, man. Good luck. Good luck to you. But now there are reports coming out that CNN is going to put some of its biggest names on the chopping block. Who's on the list? Ladies and gentlemen, or as they say in some circles, girl. Can we give a round of applause for finally putting Wolf Blitzer out to pass? Come on, Wolf. Retirement is calling. It's about that time. Come on, Wolf. Come on, Wolf. Maybe we can get maybe get another correspondent with an animal name, Like they don't do that anymore. They give the anchors any cool names. When I was growing up, we used to have a guy named Storm Field with weather. We did. Frank Field was the storm guy, and then he got his son into meteorology, and he named his kid Storm. Storm Field with weather. I love that. What was the guy who used to be on Dateline back in the day? He had a really strong name. He had a very, very deep voice back in the days. He used to do, oh, man. He did it before. He did Nightline before Lester Holt. He was the one. He had a really, really strong name, too. And it was a name after something. We don't have those names anymore. Somebody's going to remember. Lori, you got to remember his name. He used to do Dateline. He had a really, really deep voice. Good-looking guy. Bill O'Reilly used to talk about him a lot because he said NBC News wanted him but didn't want the other. They didn't want. They wanted the other guy because he had a strong name. Gosh, I can't remember from NBC News. But he had a great name. I don't even know what happened to him.
You talking about the Morrison dude?
No, not Morrison. Morrison's got a fantastic voice. That's what do you call it? What's his name? Chandler Bing. That Matt what's name's stepdad. Major Garrett is another great name. Look at that, Major Garrett. Not him, but he used to be this guy used to do on Dateline. He had a very, very deep voice, and I can't remember exactly how he used to talk very deep. But he was a younger guy. He was in and around the times like Major Garrett as well. But we used to have a lot of guys with great names. But Wolf, that's the last of a dying breed. He's out of there. Storm Field, Wolf Blitzer. We just don't get those names anymore. I think Tucker Carlson, I kind of like his name. I think that's a great newsman's name. Although I like Jesse Waters, that's not a really strong name. Who is it? Do I know who Jerry Williams is? We'll take him as our last but not least. Why not? What's going on, Jerry? Okay, I guess he just hung up. I guess he got a little frightened. Gosh, why can't I remember his name? Gosh, somebody's got to remember his name. Now I got to look him up because I can't remember his name now. But he used to do Dateline, and it's definitely not, it was way back in the day. Way back in the day. Yeah, Tucker's dad was a journalist too. Yeah, I miss those days. I miss those old news guys. Those were the days. Those guys, I envied them because they just look like the guys who were supposed to be delivering the news. It was made for them. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so anyway, tomorrow, Stone Phillips. There she is. I knew she'd get it. Lori, I can depend on you. You're one of the most dependable people I've ever met. Stone Phillips. That's his name. Who names their kid Stone? When you name your kid Stone, you are telling him at age 3, you're going to be a news anchor. Do you remember him, Roland? You got to know that guy's name.
No, I don't.
You don't remember him? Stone. No. Come on, a name like Stone Phillips. You know that guy's got he's got a chiseled chin.
Do you think I was watching Dateline as a kid? Come on, man.
Come on. You at least had to know that that's a perfect named Stone Phillips. You know that guy's delivering the news. That's when he grows up. It was like, hey, Stone, what are you going to do? You going to play football this year? No, I'm joining the school newspaper. You know, it's just do. As I always say, Radio Miss Risa, we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Joe Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Stone Phillips. Now, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, a pleasant tomorrow. Mark Christopher, you got to remember Stone Phillips, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
I couldn't remember his name for the love of God. I could not remember his name. But I don't even know what happened to him. He just got out of the news business. I don't even know where he is anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes these guys just disappear in thin air, and you never see him again. You think, oh, maybe he'll pop up somewhere else, but sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, have a good night, buddy.
That's because they all droids.
And if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91, delays 33 down to 32.
All right, good sir.
All right, buddy.
Again, between 20 and,
tomorrow, I guess we're ready.
As you head down
Let's
into
get,
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
We're still dealing with an
Get your popcorn.
in
Yes,
New Haven
indeed.
between exit 4 and 3. Only the
I'll holler at
right
you
lane
later.
is getting
Oh, you got my promo already, right?
that crash.
Yeah, I already put it in.
All right, you're good. All right,
in
thanks,
North
man.
Haven behind.
Yes, sir.
Northbound side 91, moving well, Cromwell through down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, yes. Terry, that's not nice. He was conceived at Woodstock. Was he? No, that's not true. Nobody believes that. All right, guys, I got to get up out of here, and I got to take my walk with the wife. Wow, those numbers are going up. Thank you guys for joining the show live and on X and everywhere. You guys you have no idea. I love you guys. Nice to see the numbers growing organically, and hopefully we can get those numbers